Hey bitches, it's a guy, a car, and a podcast.
It's a guy, a car, and a podcast.
It's a guy, a car, and a podcast.
It's a guy, car, and a podcast.
Buckle up.
Buckle the fuck up.
Buckle up.
Better fucking buckle up.
That's good to have you, man.
It's a really nice apartment too. I like that it's not like pretentious. It's not like this, oh, this guy, kind of a thing. But like, it's not like a horrible part of town, and
no,
even
it's
the
a good
complex
part of town.
is pretty.
Yeah, that's
cool and
yeah.
you dig it?
Yeah, it's a nice place. I like that it's right next to the mall. Oh boy. As soon as they say that, we hear gunshots. Now, right next to Chandler Mall, next to the 101, very convenient. No, it's a cool place. A lot of beautiful black ladies.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. You saw the one?
I did. She was lovely.
Woo-wee.
Do you gotta?
There's so many of them, dude.
You got a taste? You got?
No.
I mean,
not
we're in
yet.
a bad place for us to say things like jungle fever and stuff. Like, we're in a strange place, and
Sure.
but I don't mean that in any like. It's a term.
It's just.
Are you interested in black women?
It's just locker room talk, right?
But even that, I guess that's the point. That's where it's so interesting. Like, we're getting made for locker room talk, and locker room talk is nothing more than the male ego unrestrained. And what I wonder is, for things like rape and murder, do you really want to make more circumstances that restrain the male ego? Because what happens when the male ego is restrained on like a massive scale? Don't they just lose their mind and start raping and killing people? Am I being stupid, or is that real? Like, don't men just snap at some point and start making the world hell? And if that's the case, why would you want to use like some new social, cause to further restrain the male ego? What I'm thinking is we need to find constructive uses for the male ego. My opinion is entertainment. Make them have a podcast, make them start a band, make them start a Twitch page, whatever the hell is going to just make them feel like they're expressing themselves. Now the male ego is being put out, and that means they can then function in the world with the non-ego energy, the kind of energy that like does the honey-do list, that goes to the damn grocery store, that, I don't know, just men are useful, but only when the ego has been satisfied. And I think that argument goes for women too.
Yeah.
But women have also, for a much longer time, been serving the needs of like children, obviously, that they're bringing into the world and what have you. That I don't think the women ego thing is as big of an issue. Men, it is. For some weird reason, we're just, I don't know. Maybe we've been in charge too long. Like the alpha male thing, the patriarchy. Like, we're just too.
I feel like, at least, like, from the women I've dealt with, especially, like, recently, it's kind of changing, though.
In that they're just getting more power, and so it's changing the conversation.
Or maybe, like, it's just, like, the age thing. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Like, the older they get, the worse it gets?
I don't know.
Because young women are... They're passionate, but they're also, I guess, kind of like aimless. Like they haven't figured out who they are yet, and they really don't know what they want out of life. They're just sort of going and doing everything, just like drinking up all of the wine bottles of life. And I think that's great, but it also means when they get cornered or when they get, hurt, when their pride gets pricked or whatever, it's just, fire. It's not intelligent necessarily. It's not, and this isn't a blanket statement. There are definitely smart women out there, and there are definitely one-offs. But for the most part, young women, like when they express themselves in hurt or in rage, it's just kind of a volcano, and you just kind of wait until the pressure runs out, and then you have kind of a sane, logical human being you can talk to again, and you can work it out. I think that's why most
Not always.
Well, I mean, and some of that
never goes away.
I don't think some of that is actually the woman. I think some of that is circumstance. Like daddy issues are a bitch.
Just family issues in general.
That's true. Older brothers or brothers in general or whatever.
Growing up, their lifestyle, their circumstance, what happened to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't even.
It's
You fucking
dangerous
came at me
territory.
hard, dude. You came at me hard.
I never know what these. I'm sitting here just wanting to talk to like a musician about musician stuff, but I'm never whatever the conversation's gonna be. I don't really give that much of a shit, and I know one of the things I love about you is how funny you are, but how specifically funny you are. And I have so many questions about where that came from, as far as like, I know growing up, like, I think my first observing of comedy was somewhere between like all the sort of sitcom-y stuff, like Full House and Three's Company. I know those are different
Three's
generations,
Company
but
is
stuff like that.
Oh,
But then
Suzanne's
I
in it,
saw
right?
like, oh my
Am I
lord,
right?
and yeah, my first like sexual orientation
Oh, sure.
to like,
Sure.
you know, but then like something like Bill Cosby himself, where like the stand-up special hits, and for some weird reason, like it was just around enough that I remember it pretty well.
Fucking Bill, right?
I mean, fucking Bill now, and I'm one of those weird guys that on my podcast I've tried to not be afraid to talk about Bill Cosby, to talk about Louis C.K., to talk about people that are like in a socially heated thing, because the truth is, whether they did what they did or not, I am a fan of content that they made, and I don't want to just like pitch that shit into the fire just because they did some fucked up shit as a human.
Yeah.
I'd like to remain a fan of what they do and who they are. For example, I put out music and I put out content and stuff, and I have people that are fans of it. The truth is, I'm human, and I've made mistakes, and I've hurt people, and I've done fucked up weird shit, just trying to find who I am as a person.
Sure, yeah.
And if they knew all of that stuff, I'm sure that they would be equally turned on. It's because of that I won't let myself just write off these people because they got found out that they did some fucked up shit. I'd rather just remain fans of what their content, and then I guess just figure out how I feel about them as humans. As far as Bill Cosby goes, it just seems like fame drove him crazy, and now he's just not like a logical, rational, sane human being.
Well, he's fucking old, too. It's like 80,
Yeah,
right?
80 something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's old. It's like,
But from what I hear, as a comedian, still just a murderer. Like,
yeah.
Louis C.K. said something about him like 6 or 7 years ago, where he went to a show of his just sort of randomly, and he was just like, it was just like watching a boxer go into a ring and just manhandle somebody. Like,
Oh, really?
the precision of Bill Cosby's comedy, the way, like, there's this special he did. I'm not sure if it was just before or right after all the allegations and all the bullshit happened, but I keep forgetting what it's called. I referenced it a few times on my podcast. It's like Bill Cosby, like, not gonna stop or something like that. It just had to do with like the fact that he's old but he's not stopping doing comedy. And he's just this old guy, like with his one weird eye going off in some direction for some strange reason. But he's just doing the same story type of comedy that he's always done. But you watch him, I forget exactly what the bit was, but like he starts this thing with the crowd where he can get the crowd based on what he's saying to say this certain thing. And he plays a little game with him where he gets them like a call and response thing. And then like 10 minutes later, he's in the middle of a bit that actually digs into the call and response game, and he gets to that part and the crowd says it, and he's like, something funny, like some reaction like, no, this is for me. Like the way that he crafted building this game so that he could Pavlovian trigger the crowd, and then building a bit so that when the crowd said it, he could shut him up and be like, no. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. You'd have to see it. Like, the comedy within that moment. That he's like, he set these dominoes up perfectly, and he's fucking 80 plus years old. Like, he's still sharp up here. Which is why everything that I've heard about, like, the trials and how he was behaving is weird to me. Like, he was just being zany and kooky. Like, he was just like, zip, 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 like, as he was, like, walking into the courtroom. And everybody's like, not the time, Bill, but there's something about him that just can't separate the two worlds. Like, in his head, there's a camera pointing at him, and he knows that camera is hooked to his fans, and so in a weird way, he wants to talk to them, but he doesn't also think about the fact that, no, that camera's pointing at everybody, and most of them hate you, so maybe don't do that thing that you did when you were 35 and you were America's dad.
Dude.
Anyway, you and comedy. Where does it start for you in your life?
Comedy?
Because you're so, like, dark and precise about the way that you joke. It seems to me that it wouldn't be, like, in like, the childhood place that I found it. Like, you found it somewhere over here.
I would have to say Seinfeld is a huge influence.
That makes sense.
Just matter of fact, like, just almost a little arrogant.
Mhm.
Like, I get it. I can be a little cocky, sure. But it's all part of humor. It all comes from a place of humor. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, it does in a way. Like, I'm totally fucking mocking shit. The tone that I do it is a little arrogant, but that's all part of the humor. So yeah, I would say Seinfeld was like a huge influence on me as far as like comedy wise.
How old were you when you discovered Seinfeld? I mean, it must have been your teen years. I was like 12 or 13, I think.
I was probably 7. I was young.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How old are you right now?
I'm 37.
Yeah, we're the same age. That's weird.
Yeah.
Am I just misremembering? I guess that is old.
I'm thinking about like what? 90? Something like that?
Oh, you're right. Wow.
I started watching it. I remember when it first came out. I remember my dad would watch it, and I remember the first episode I saw was the Garage episode, where okay, well, fucking Kramer buys an AC unit, and they can't find their car in this garage, this parking garage, and I don't know, shit goes down. Anyways.
That right there is what the script of every Seinfeld episode should say. There's like a setup, and then, I don't know, shit goes... It's the yada 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 of every episode. I don't know, shit goes down.
Perfect. It worked out perfect. Beautiful. But yeah, fucking Seinfeld. That shit was good.
Where do you go from Seinfeld as far as what you are looking for next?
Dude, honestly, I went from Seinfeld to straight to The Office.
What?
And, yeah, I remember just, I never really got into anything other than Seinfeld.
The Office is like fluff compared to Seinfeld. This is way too relatable. It's way too like, I don't know, yeah, just middle of the road, silly. Which isn't a bad thing. It's a great show, but compared to Seinfeld,
I guess because it's like different. It was the first show that came out that really was like a documentary style comedy, at least in the U.S. I know, in fucking, you know, whatever. The original. Yada yada yada.
You almost committed to like 3 different ways of saying it, and then you didn't say any of it. You're like, Britain, you're not, over there.
You know, the UK, the fucking lineys, man. But yeah, that's what I liked about it. I liked that it was like kind of documentary style.
Yeah.
And that was new. That wasn't anything that anyone was anyone else was doing. And then after that, that's when everyone started doing it. Like, Parks and Rec came out.
Yeah, which is why I don't like it. I have a really hard time with Parks and Rec.
I never got into it.
It's the same. Even like Modern Family or stuff. I'm like, it's the same format. Why am I blown away by this? You're using the same format to do the same thing. And that being said, every sitcom, for the most part, is the same format, and but at the same time, it's not. Something like Family Matters is nothing like Full House. Even though it's a family in a house, it's totally different circumstances. So, of course, there's different ways to like. What?
Who have to point now?
That it's a black family versus a white family.
Disparity.
And I was actually just talking about this on a solo episode before.
I'm totally
one of the reasons that I think that I could sort of lean back into Family Matters and really enjoy it versus something like Martin or the
Family Matters
Wayans brothers.
I mean,
Yeah. Is that
show
it's
was
the
just dumb.
whitest black show ever.
No, it totally is. That show was just dumb. I didn't like it. Did you like that show?
Dude, Urkel was my hero. Till I was like 14.
No, it definitely was the
Easy.
whitest black family of all time.
Yeah.
Ever on TV. Ever on TV.
Uh-huh. But that being said, I still could enjoy Martin and the Wayans brothers and
I'm not saying
the Chris Rock
I'm not
show
saying
and all
that's
that
why you
stuff.
shouldn't enjoy it.
Right.
I
say that's why, like, I don't know, I related to something like Family Matters. Or Step by Step, or I don't know, there was another.
Step by Step. Is that the fucking... Which one was that?
It was the fucking Cheaper by the Dozen. It was the guy who had the construction company and had several kids. And then Suzanne Summers back for another swing with her kids at like the barber shop. And they got married. They met each other like on vacation in Hawaii. And they got married and came home and were like, kids were married. And so they had to bring these two families together. And it's just white trash versus uptown.
Is that TGIF? Is that
Yeah. Yeah. Great show.
Jesus.
Great show.
That's
There was this like cousin Cody who was like
It's
the
terrible. The way if the way you're describing it is how it is, that's fucking terrible.
But I was
That
also
sounds
really
like a really bad.
I had a very sanitary childhood, so like that to me was, you know, I don't know, Steve Martin or any of like the greats comedically. That was my, you know, like when I saw Dane Cook when I was fucking 21 or 22. That although I was aware of Chris Rock and I was aware of like great comedians, it blew up my brain. Like Dane Cook Vicious Circle just made me realize that comedy, I don't know, I guess I'd never seen anything so performative. And I'd seen Robin Williams. I guess not really. I saw him more in his movies. I didn't really see like his stand-up until much later, but it was just something so like visceral and active, and I was just like, it was a comedian rock star. I was like, this is fucking crazy. And I enjoyed being funny, and I thought I was getting funnier over the years. When I saw Dane, I was like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but someday I want to try stand-up, because that looks like fucking fun.
I wouldn't mind trying it. It's way different than being on stage with a guitar.
Yep.
It's way scary.
It's a different, like, it's almost like with a guitar playing a song, you can play a song, and if you finish the song, the weird thing about American culture, I'm not sure if this is how it is across the world, but like, you will get even sympathy claps out of people. When a song is over, everyone is like Pavlovianly triggered to just clap for you.
Yeah.
So you'll get clapter, and then like, all you really have to do is just, to get away from the awkwardness of the silence, is start another song. With comedy, it's kind of like, if what you just said wasn't funny, now it's almost like you're deeper in the hole, and you really gotta like work harder to get yourself, you gotta get their trust. And especially with someone like you, who I love. I'd be the guy in the back just cackling my face off, because I'm expecting you to be weird. But the people in the front row that like are just trying to have a fun night on a Saturday, that have no idea what's going on, I feel bad for your experience, that they just be like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I don't think that you would be interested, in the same way that you're not interested socially with like, if people care about what you mean, they care about the context or your intent, you just sort of lean into the bit and commit to it. I feel like you do that on a comedy stage, and people would just hate you for it.
Yeah, nobody really has any idea what I'm talking about when I'm like, I try to engage the crowd, like when I'm on stage with all the other dudes, and like we're in a show, and that's probably, I would say, one of our weakest things about our band is our crowd engagement.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because between you and JP, you got some of the like the hardest hitters of crowd engagement. You guys are amazing at it, but for some reason I feel like when all four of you are on stage, and I guess 5 now with Jeff, I feel like you're all a little insecure about what the others think of what you're trying to do or trying to say, and so everyone's like not really leaning in and trying to like swing hard.
It's hard because there's just like a different, there's such a different don't know, just different crowd. Okay, for example, like Brand, like his family, like
Very, what I grew up
JP.
with, very conservative, very.
Yeah. JP and his wife and his kids are there.
I don't know his wife very well. I hear he says she's awesome. I don't know.
Oh sure, no, they're great, but it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm at my best when I can just say whatever I want,
Right.
and I don't have to worry about who kids in the audience.
Right.
So for that reason, it's hard. It's hard to like really engage the crowd because I can't be myself. And that's like not a secret. Like we all feel that way. Like we're all just like, yeah, it's hard because like we want, we have our friends there, and we want to entertain them and give them a good show. We know we have the kids there and our families there. Like it's where do we draw the line between what's funny and like what's, you know what I mean?
But you all don't talk about it. You basically just get up on stage, the mics are hot, and then you're just like, we're just trying
Exactly. We try to just like, well, like I think mostly we try to just not talk at all. Just try to get into our next song as quick as we can.
Which is funny because you never succeed. Like even when I watch your live streams, there's
I know it's terrible.
easily 3 or 4
That's
minutes
all
of talking between songs, and I'm like, what is happening?
That's all JP's fault. JP fucking talks forever, dude. He never shuts the fuck up. And that's what I love about him, because he's funny. But that's something about him, he just doesn't shut the fuck up. But whatever. But, yeah, that's his fault.
Which is, interestingly, I think, to me, another thing, not that I've ever tried to stand up stage, so I hate to refer to it as a place that I understand. I only understand it through the comics that I listen to and through them kind of explaining how it works, and then sort of transposing that on what I've experienced through being used on stage music. But, it feels like, or maybe I could make a comparison with podcasting. Even though I've never done one live, I'd like to. But with music, I'm for the most part in a hurry to get to the music, and I understand the value of banter, and I understand the value of setting up a song. Sometimes there's a little story, or maybe a little experience, or something you can just drop in front of a song to give it a little bit of emotional weight. And now when you lean into the song, there's something there that wasn't there before, that will make the song kind of sweeter to the taste. That stuff I like. But droning on and on and on, like that to me actually sucks the power out of the music that is then portrayed.
Yeah.
That's what I can't figure out, specifically with you guys. Because you guys have this back catalog of great music. And then on top of that, it seems to be you guys are like still coming out with stuff that I think hits. So then at a live show, it's 5 dudes up there who are all like insecure and nervous and just tripping over each other, and then playing songs that now we're all sort of feeling awkward because you guys just felt awkward. And then you go into a song and we're like, oh, and we finally get relaxed by the end note, and we're like, cool. And then you spend 3 or 4 minutes like just killing the crowd all over again by like just dissipating the energy.
No, I totally agree. What do we gotta do? Tell me, what do we gotta do?
The truth is, I think the answer isn't me like just telling you an answer. I think the answer is you guys just gotta talk about this kind of stuff, and that doesn't mean set it up. Like in
right.
Jeff's world, Jeff would say, "Let's do bits. Let's set up bits. Let's even have it programmed. Let's have some track coming on, and we'll all like play into." We've done that before in the Afterlife. I've watched the video afterward, and I'm just like, it didn't work. It was a cute idea, but it makes us look small time. It makes us look like we're like, I don't know, like Laurel and Hardy. Like we're just like we're silly, and then we don't take ourselves seriously. Which, P.S., I think is the #1 failure of local bands. If you don't take yourself seriously, if you don't like project an essence of feeling like you belong on that stage and in front of that microphone, you're already failing the crowd.
Oh, I totally agree. Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel like you guys really talk about what's about to happen on stage. You just sort of see. It's a tight wire act, and you always fall off every time. And it makes me laugh because I know you individually, and you're all funny people. Chris, when he tries, is such a funny fighter. I can't even with just how hard
But the thing is, he's in a tight spot too because his students are in the crowd.
Yeah. And he's a lot different when his students
Oh,
are
so,
around.
dude,
He's a much softer human when his students
Oh god.
are around.
Well, like when we're in practice and we're just like going back and forth.
Mhm.
If that was the show, like if we could like cut that down, edit it, and throw it into a show, it would be great.
What you just described as a podcast, and you should do one. I hate everybody in the local scene because I feel like I'm the jackass out here, like doing stuff that famous people do, but I'm not famous. I'm just this asshole that's like, hey, I do all that stuff they do, and they're like, yeah, no one cares. My friends are nice enough to like sit down and do it with me. But anyway, so maybe just for funsies, while I got you here, and because part of me will regret if we don't capture some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We talked a very tiny bit about the comedy stuff, and I'm glad I got a little bit of where you come from, because I think that does actually contextualize your sense of humor. But since I'm mostly aware of and interested in your music background, as young as you can remember, like, what was music to you? What was being played around you that you were interested in? What were you like grabbing onto musically?
I would say like subconsciously, whether I realized it or not at the time. I'd say the Beatles.
Wow. I mean, were you like full on album Beatles, or was it just kind of the hits? Do you remember?
Like the hits, like the. Yeah. I couldn't tell you what album or what it was, but my mom always had that playing in her car when I was a little kid. And my dad always had Love and Spoonful. They're not the Love. It's called Love and Spoonful. Have you heard of that? You would recognize their song. It's like it's from the 60s.
Like the Cars and Zombies are just one of those like 60s
Yeah.
bands?
Do You Believe in Magic? That song?
Okay. Yeah.
That's Love and Spoonful. And then they had a couple, like they had a few other hits too. But anyways, yada yada yada.
So you just had a lot of early rock and roll.
Yeah, a lot of like
in your world.
60s stuff. That was the first stuff that I really ever heard, and like kind of, like I said, whether I realized it or not, it played a part in like what I did later. It's like I'll look back and like I'll think about something I wrote or something I did, like, oh, that's totally,
I can see it.
that.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck it is. That's that.
So what point in so then at some point you probably like heard something and like it became your own. It wasn't just something you were listening to with your parents. Like, what was the first thing you heard that you kind of like found your own path?
Yeah. Probably Nirvana.
Really?
Like if I'm being honest.
Wow.
Nirvana.
Never mind, like everybody, or
Yeah. When I was in second, third grade, whenever the fuck that came out, so that Teen Spirit came on, and then like
You're getting your timeline so weird, dude. It came out in '92.
Yeah. So I would have been third grade.
Really?
I was born in '83.
9 years old?
I don't know.
Anyway, continue. Okay.
I was eight.
Because I didn't find it until I was like 16 or 17, so in my brain it's just a very teenage thing. But
Oh, gotcha.
that's interesting. And you just immediately were like, I get that this is amazing,
Yeah.
and maybe even why.
Because that was around the time that MTV was like really fucking cool.
Did you have MTV in your house?
Oh no way, dude.
Me neither.
Are you crazy? Come on. It's like $30 a month. Come on, dude. No, we didn't have fucking MTV.
So you like heard it on the radio and bought the record, or how did you?
All my friends had MTV. I remember I went over there and fucking heard it.
You watched the video was the first time you
Yeah,
heard it.
I think.
Oh
What
shit.
the hell was it? A friend, an elementary school friend tells me about this shit. You just been Nirvana, the song, and I was like, it's the fucking coolest song.
Which is so weird that you had hipster friends. Like you had a friend that would
Yeah.
have his ear to the
Yeah.
cultural.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
You've just been cool since you were born? You didn't have to like get rejected and bullied and learn that shit? What the fuck?
I got my share of bullying.
Okay.
Anyways, no, I heard this shit and I was just like, and you know, and like I said, MTV was fucking huge. You showed me MTV, and then like right after that, I think like it was around Pearl Jam got huge, and then like Smashing Pumpkins got huge, and they all just started like all these fucking new.
Are you one of those assholes that listen to Melancholy and then Infinite Sadness front to back? Or were you just like, whatever, just the radio hits, I'm good enough?
No, I like what.
It took me years. well into my 30s before I could enjoy that album front to back.
Oh.
It's just fucking
the whole
soundscapey. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
I mean,
like as a 12-year-old, no fucking way I was gonna be able to digest that.
No.
And nothing against Billy Corgan, it's brilliant music, but it's just grown-up music.
Yeah.
Like, give me Zero and give me Bullet with Butterfly Wings and just,
yeah.
Jesus.
No.
Now
I've heard it all the way through and it's good, but it's not something I'd listen to on repeat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you started in, like, grunge.
Yeah, that's where I started.
Okay.
And I started playing guitar because of all that shit. Mostly because of the Unplugged album, the Nirvana Unplugged album. That's
Really? Meaning you started on acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
Shit.
Because before that I played piano. I started playing piano when I was like 5.
Such a dick. That's why you're so good. That's why you're a great musician. That's why you're a great writer. Because you play piano.
I stopped there. I did shit. Fucking rich. And I remember my mom even told me, she's like, you're going to regret this. I'm like, no, I'm not. I want to play guitar. Fuck piano. Which, maybe I wouldn't have started playing guitar if I didn't stop playing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You
But-
were fucking George Michael instead of Collin and Curbside High.
But, yeah, that's kind of what made me start playing guitar. Was the Unplugged album. I remember I learned all those fucking songs. Like, they're just easy songs.
Yeah.
Like,
But intriguing.
yeah.
Even the fucking Meat Puppet shit. It's just like, oh
Yeah.
wow, this is really like fucking Oh Me and shit. And you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
You put a G chord all sorts of places. What the fuck? And it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
really interesting.
It was super easy, and it was huge at the time. So I remember I had like guitar class like in 7th grade, whatever. I'd show up and I'd start playing that shit. And like everyone would fucking like, oh my god, you can play that. And in my head I'm like, this is the fucking easiest shit. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna ride this out.
Because you're already Van Halen. You're like, I get
Yeah,
this thing.
whatever.
It's fine.
And then from then, it was Rage Against the Machine. I don't know, like, I'm not like a huge Rage fan anymore. I just really liked the fucking riffs and the guitar. It was cool at the time.
Yeah.
Now I look, like now, like I said, it doesn't really move me. You know, it doesn't really do anything for me. But at the time, I'm like, holy shit, these riffs are badass.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of that Tom Morello shit. And everyone, I don't know. That's just kind of the shit I was into.
But then, based on where you ended up, at some point, I imagine like punk rock and pop punk would have like
Oh yeah.
drifted into your sphere a bit.
Yeah.
Or are you
That
just
wasn't
like
until later,
a
though. That wasn't until like high school. That was honestly until I met.
you're just a brilliant psychedelic musician that eventually just found his way into a punk band. You're like, I'm fine. I'll just sit here. It's cool. That's why you play all that fucking crazy shit that you do, because you come from like the Soundgarden, like Meat Motorthought, or just
Yeah, probably.
I aim for it, but I'm just not that. I like it. Like Bush or off of Razor Blade Suitcase. Bush has some really
Oh yeah.
weird riffs and stuff. I like it.
Oh yeah, I was huge in Bush.
Huge in Bush.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. Which is why I like listening to other bands talk shit about them, like how much they suck. Because I'm like,
Really?
no, they don't at all. Like Bush, I don't know if they're just joking. In the same way that like Foo Fighters talk a bunch of shit about Coldplay, but they asked him about it in interviews enough that Dave at some point was just like, me and the guys are friends. We're really good friends, and we talk all that shit just to poke fun at them. Like they're great musicians and we love them as people, but it's just really fun to poke fun at Coldplay in the public eye. So yeah, we put it in our music videos and we have a good time with it, but like, no, I don't hate them. Like, they're good friends of mine. So it makes me appreciate the jokes even more when it's just like, oh, okay, we're on the inside of it. But like, as far as I've heard, real rifts between like Bush and a lot of the 90s bands. They're like, fuck Bush. And the more I hear like Gavin Rossdale talk, I'm like, oh, that's just because he's not like you guys. He's this really ethereal, like existential, strange guy. Which comes out in his lyrics. He's a very... I love how his lyrics like never tried to rhyme, never tried to make sense. Like they were just poetry.
Yeah, they're just raw. It was just kind of
great.
It went with it. I don't know. It just kind of fit the music so well. Everything tied together well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I never listened to anything other than 16 Stone.
Great.
I heard a few off of Razor Blade Suitcase.
One of my songs on Farewell Aquarius, it doesn't sound like it now, but the original version was actually like my way of trying to write Alien. Remember that song at the very end of 16 Stone? I'm an alien, you're an alien, it's a beautiful rain, beautiful. How it starts out with that bass line. Doom, 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 doom. Like, if you listen to Free, it like has that, doesn't matter. Point being, I fucking love me some Bush. And then after Razorblade Suitcase, they just went all like electronic, and it got really. There was a lot of like.
Kind of fell off.
It wasn't like industrial. It was just kind of. I don't even know if I'd call it dance music. It was just electronic. It was like remixes of shit of their old shit. I'm like, wow,
that shit,
did we need this?
I don't mind like industrial shit. I like 9 Inch Nails.
So it's the hits. I've tried to listen to like full albums, and
Not
like
so much.
there's a lot of soundscaping here that I'm like, you're just not touching my
What
heart.
about
I don't get it.
what's the shit that has fucking had like a whole?
Oh, is that Pretty Hate Machine?
Yeah.
I hear everyone says that's their favorite, and I've tried to listen to it, and I can't get like 2 or 3 tracks in where I'm just like, it's almost like listening to a Tool album. I don't hate Tool, but on an album basis, I'm like,
You don't like
if
shit that
I
drags
couldn't
on, huh?
see the track changing to a different song, I would have no idea that he's playing a different song. It all sounds like just this one giant piece that just got like snipped into 12 different songs, and that for some reason turns me off. Like with me, I mean, Nirvana, obviously, and like some of the first albums I bought were like Green Day, Dookie, and Soundgarden, Super Unknown, and I mean, I was listening to stuff on the radio like Alice in Chains and Stabbing Westward and stuff like that, but the first album that just rocked my fucking pants off was Foo Fighters' Color and Shape. And I think it's because
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm not.
it's not like the songs are very different from each other. It's a very diverse album. And there was something to me that was interesting about a band that could keep a core sound together and yet just play in every like frequency and spectrum of that sound. Just take that sound where they want. And I feel like they've done it with their whole career, which is why they're still one of my favorite bands. But based on that, there are bands that to me, on the album, every song sounds the same enough. And Tool and Perfect Circle and all the side projects and shit, I'm like, I don't know why this is different. I mean, it's almost like you're the most talented fucking guitar player and the most talented fucking drummer in the sense that he can find the tempo within the tempo. It's like Inception, listening to him play the drums, the way he can twist a rhythm and everything. But when I'm 3 minutes in, fuck it, let's say 9 or 10 minutes in, listening to what you're doing, and my brain's just kind of gone to sleep. Like, I'm not interested anymore because I feel like you're just kind of playing in the same sandbox. Like, that just kind of takes me out of it. Whereas, like, Nirvana, I think Nevermind's a pretty good example of that, too. Where, like, there's stuff like Lithium that's, like, I don't know, kind of mainstream pop rock. And then there's stuff like Territorial Pissings and Stay Away that's, like, punk. Or I don't know, it's just way more aggressive. And then there's stuff like Something in the Way where you're like, this is the fucking saddest shit I've ever heard. This is insane. And it's all, and it fits on the same album. Like, I don't know how this happened. It's great. But I don't know. I've tried to even listen to like the Pixies and stuff where Nirvana got their influences from. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand why they thought this was good. Zeppelin, I can get on an album basis, which I'm kind of proud of. That took me a while. It used to just be the hits. If I get on an album and I get lost. I get it. But now I'm okay. Even like Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, for years, I'm like, fuck this. And then it just, I think what happened was I was driving home from like a late night, or like a practice, and so it was like late night from like Surprise. So I just had some fucking time. And it was nighttime, and I just threw it on, and I think something about driving at night, and I'm like, oh, Dark Side of the Moon. This is where you gotta be. This is why people get high and light candles. You gotta be in a really kind of, I don't know, like a dark, ethereal place for that. Just it's such a visceral album. Like the clocks just scaring the shit out of you when that song comes on, or even Great Gig in the Sky, like her vocal so low where you're just like, Jesus. So fun. So anyway, pop punk, how did you get that? Was there any? I feel like I know you told me you're like a Taking Back Sunday fan, and there's some like emo.
Yeah, I got into that shit. I remember like this is really random. You know the band Modest Mouse?
Yes.
I remember I was in 8th grade. And up before this, I was doing the same shit, like the Dookie album came out a year before, maybe some shit like that.
Yeah.
So stuff along those lines, like the grunge. And I remember being like in 8th grade, like I said, going to fucking Best Buy and doing the sorry, I'm cussing a lot. I know. I'm sorry.
It's good.
Okay.
That's what this episode is gonna be.
Okay.
A lot of fucks and shits.
It's the, it's the idea. That's what's doing it. So, I heard Modest Mouse on one of those fucking Try-Me stations.
Okay.
At Best Buy, dude. When all they sold was CDs. There was just CDs down the fucking store. It's all they sold.
But I mean, you just heard like, "We'll All Float On" or whatever, right? Like, it had to have been a hit song.
Dude,
It wasn't?
It was way before that. It was.
Oh shit.
Something about going west. Onward west.
Somebody listening is screaming it right now because I know what you're talking. Like I've heard people reference what you're talking about. I don't know what it is.
Shit. But it had some good songs in there. But yeah, it was like one of their. No one heard them even years after that.
Yeah.
But I heard that album. It's pissing me off. The Lonesome Crowded West. Some shit like that.
Well, no.
Okay. So that album, I heard that, and it was like completely different than what everything else that was out. And I'm like, this is fucking interesting. This is pretty fucking cool. Because it was like a mix of like, it's like raw rock, just like that real raw, like, I don't know.
Like, not White Stripes, but tonally, like where it's just the instruments are just in the amps, and it's just not vintage. I don't know, something really garage rock, just kind of
just something about
ratty,
kind of idiot-ish.
They're all listening right now. You might as well just say hi. I guarantee you they are.
Oh, yeah.
They love you. As they should.
I mean that in a good way, like just kind of that just raw rock.
Yeah.
But I heard that shit. I was like, oh, so I kind of started playing a little more like prettier, I guess. 'Cause before it was kind of like I said, rock. A little more pretty. Is that the right word? Yeah.
I don't know, but it's a really interesting adjective to talk about how Modest Mouse took you from Nirvana to pretty. Where you started playing like what Chris calls the twinklies, like you just started
the twinklies. Yes, the twinklies.
Started using your high end a little more.
Just like
wow.
Yeah, I mean yes and no. Yeah.
Because I guess their riffs, as much as I know of Modest
They're
Mouse,
just really
like,
weird. Like,
they don't play bar chords.
There's a lot of open
very,
strings.
Like,
There's a lot of just like weird, like you wouldn't think it would go, but somehow it does with the melody on top of it.
His vocal choices are so fucking interesting.
Yeah, he's a weird fucking singer.
Yeah,
it's good. It all works, but
it's like My Chemical Romance. Like, why would that work? But it's like, wow, okay,
yeah,
cool. Yeah. Wow. So Modest Mouse, where did you go from there? What did that lead you to?
Modest Mouse. I'd say from there. What did I do? A lot of Deftones. Then I got into fucking Deftones. And more like, in Tool. Deftones, Tool. Shit like that.
I feel the same about Deftones, where it's like, there's a series of songs that I love, and then album-wise, I'm just like, motherfucker, you guys just... I don't hate it, but it's kind of like... It feels like spiders crawling on me. And where at some point I'm like, I just gotta get this off me. I'm no longer comfortable in my skin.
See,
because
I like
there's a darkness inside of that I'm like, fuck me.
I like the creepiness factor.
Do you?
Yeah. I like that about
But you didn't get in like Manson or any of like the...
That's too much. That's too fucking much. I don't. I
honestly,
honestly, I don't mind Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
There's a few songs like I'll listen to.
Yeah.
Like I'll fucking get into this.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like
Beautiful People.
It's a good song.
Out of control.
It's a good song. Like,
But not
it's
like
pop,
the
dude.
song is written well and the production. How did they fucking find that guitar tone?
Yeah.
Like it's
just creepy as
so
fuck.
fucking good. And his vocals.
Yeah.
Like just how does he scream? I've heard him talk. He has the deepest ass voice.
Yeah.
How does he shriek like that?
Yeah.
Fuck the find out, dude. It's so good. Dude. I'm not like hardcore. I'm the same as you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
man,
I don't
when they come
it's-
on, I kind of have to take a knee and just be like, everyone shut up, because this is genius. We all need to listen to it.
Yeah. I mean,
Fucking Sweet Dreams.
no one else.
It's a
did
cover,
anything like
and
that.
it's not a cover. Doesn't sound anything like the original. Doesn't have the same tone as the original.
Yeah.
He took that song and fucked it in the ass, and it's great.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Like you gotta hand it to him. Like he's creepy as fuck. Like
Yeah.
everything about his act is just
Yep.
fucking creepy. But he does it so well.
Mhm.
Like who does it better?
But you were like album Deftones, like White Pony and fucking That's All I Know.
I would say
There at least.
no.
I don't know.
Around the what was before Around the Fur was fucking what was
Oh, that's right.
Adrenaline? Is that the one? I would say Adrenaline. Yeah, Adrenaline is what I first heard. I remember hearing it in like I don't know.
There's a song I only heard within the last couple of years. I heard it on like a playlist somewhere on Spotify, and it just impressed the fuck out of me. Like I made sure to put it aside so I could listen to it later. It's called Minerva.
Oh yeah.
So God bless you all for the songs
Yeah, I knew
you
a chick
sang.
named Minerva.
Jesus.
That made me think of that song like that.
Such a fucking good song.
She's a beautiful Hispanic girl. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
Yeah. It was one of those songs where I listened to it and it sounded like Deftones trying to be 30 Seconds to Mars. And I thought,
Oh,
I hate to say it, but that's the band I always wanted to hear. If Deftones was playing this game more, I'd be an album Deftones fan. Because there's something more, and I have a friend who fucking hates when I say this, use this terminology, there's something so much more pop to it. It's more mainstream. And it's just like, whoop, there it is. That lift caught me and I'm in. Whereas with, I can listen to like Shove It and, Chains in a House of Flies. And that's probably not as far as my Deftones knowledge goes, but I get it. There's like and he's really, actually their cover of Skinner's Simple Man is fucking great. And it's great because like, there's this album they did called, I think it's called like B-Sides and Rarities or something, where it's like B-sides and shit that didn't end up on albums or whatever, but there's also some covers sprinkled in it. One of them is Simple Man. The beautiful thing about it is, it's pretty much Simple Man, just like Leonard Skinner plays it, but you know how he does that thing vocally where he just picks a dissonant note?
Yeah.
And it just it's all he does. He just shifts one note down to his dissonant place, and you're like,
I love that shit.
motherfucker, you're a genius!
I fucking love that shit.
It's great.
No, I try to get away with shit like that and it sounds fucking stupid. Like, I did that shit at the show the other night. I was like, I'm gonna do this dissonant note at the very end. And I went for it, and then Chris harmonized over it. I was like, oh god, that was fucking terrible.
You went dissonant, and he
Yeah.
he evened it back out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
That's so good.
Yeah. I try to do shit like that. Like I try to. No, that dude, he's such a good he's a good singer, man. He's a good vocalist. He's really creative.
Mm-hmm.
He goes all over the place. He
Mhm.
fucking does the fucking noises he makes. Like he screams and squelches and fucking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He does all this kinds of crazy shit.
Being in the studio with
And it
him,
all ties together. And it sounds good.
between like the Afterlife and Bring the Army, being in the studio with him was mind-bending. Because Chris has a very deep voice. Vocal, just speaking. His speaking voice is very deep. But goddamn, can he hit something higher than
Wait a minute.
I can even barely hear?
I thought
Like,
we were talking about Deftones.
yeah. You got off on just Chris is a genius note, and I was like, we should walk there for just a quick second because I think he deserves that credit. That he is, well, it's a combination of he's smart. Genius is too big of a word. He's definitely a brilliant songwriter, but his capacity to project music is fucking crazy. Like, guitar player, if he's practiced, he's good. But sometimes he just kind of shows up and you're like, Jesus. But as a singer, like, his choices for where the notes should go, and then his ability to just hit things. They're like, where are you going? Like, I think he can out-sing JP. Just because he has, like, a range that's insane. My point is, I'm a big fan of this.
No.
So, Deftones.
Go. I don't care.
Where did you go from Deftones and Tool? Where did that... Or were we talking about that, then we got into Modest Mouse? Or was it the other way around?
No,
I guess from there it would
Mouse.
just drop you into the band days, right? Because when did you start? You played guitar from when you were like 10 or something.
You know what other fucking band I got into?
Yes.
Remember the Strokes?
I
Remember that
know
band?
them. Know of them.
I got into them. I really got into them.
Really?
They were fucking good. Like their first album, it's called "Is This It?"
That's
really
the
fucking good.
The album with Last Night on it, right?
It's the one. Yeah, it's the one that everyone fucking. It's good. No, it's good.
Is that the same album that has Reptilia on it? Because that song
no, that was the next
blew
one.
my fucking brain
That's a good
off.
one too. That's really fucking good.
And the video too, it's amazing too. Where like they isolate the frame of like 20 different things, and the whole video is just going back and forth between them. So it's like half of the singer's face while he's singing. It's the drummer's foot kicking the drum pedal, like,
I know what you're talking
and that's
about.
it. The whole, and it's like the guitar player's fingers going up and down the guitar, and that's it. The whole video is just like going back and forth between these really distinctly isolated frames. It's interesting,
cool.
but the song, like, I wrote this song called "Maybe Jeff Is Right," where similarly, like that harmonic, where it's like the octave harmonic that we all use in pop punk, but the one beyond that. That if you go to the next string down, you can control the key of the harmonic, where you can either play it in major, you can play it in minor, whatever. Like that harmonic fascinates me. So I wrote a song where I kind of use that, similarly to the way they do it in Reptilia. Anywho, you found the Strokes. Tell me about your Strokes experience.
What? I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. Oh, the Strokes. Yeah, that's when I was like, that was a weird time. I was like 18 or 19 at that point. That was right before that was really right before I started joining bands.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was probably the last band I was really into. And that was when I fucking had hair and it was all greasy. I had long, greasy hair.
Dope!
And
I never knew that,
And
Colin.
I wore like skinny jeans and boots and fucking like.
That's so fucking rad.
I tried to look like I was a part of the Beatles, basically. Fucking.
Like turtlenecks and shit.
Yeah.
It's like
Turtlenecks and fucking. What are those fucking messenger bags? I think I even had a messenger bag that I toted around with.
Did you already go electric? Did you already have an electric in the name?
Oh yeah.
Who'd you have?
Well, let's see. I had a Marshall. It was valves. It was like the cheapest fucking one.
Like two?
Or
Or just one of the old ratty, like solid state ones?
solid state,
Oh,
like
yeah.
and like the cab was like a 410s.
Oh, wow. It's like a bass cab. Wow, that's interesting.
And it wasn't. I don't know. It didn't sound that great. It was the whole setup was maybe like $350, $400. It wasn't that expensive. And then I had my Fender Strat and like a Mexican Strat, like a piece of shit.
Those are rad though. They're ratty. You can get some fun sounds out of this.
I don't even remember what it sounded like. It's been so long. I remember just fucking hating it though. So. But I remember I played that show, or I played when okay, hang on. There you go.
Stop the bus. I want off.
So, I joined the band Already Lost.
Was that your first band? Remember
Yeah.
that band? I replaced you.
That's right.
I know that band. Yeah. So that was your first
Friends
fucking
with Tom and
band?
Zach. Are you still friends with Tom and Zach?
I am still friends with Tom, and I just barely got Zach's number back. So
Yeah.
now there's like communication there now, but we haven't
Yeah.
talked in 15
Oh.
years. But
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, so I met them at, remember Andy DeWitt?
I know the name.
Mike Sen.
I know the name.
What the fuck is wrong?
It's been a long time.
So I met them when I was at a party.
Okay.
I was at a party at their apartment.
Okay.
And Tom and Zach were there. I met them. We just kind of jammed at the party.
Acoustically?
Yeah, just kind of hanging out. And like they just asked me if I like wanted to come jam. Yeah, fuck it. 'Cause we all got along. Like we're all joking around.
So they were already in the 3-piece with.
Yeah, they had
Brandon.
a show that night, and I was at the after party. You know, as much as you want to call it that when you're like 19 years old.
That's cliche
The
as
after
hell.
party.
I love that.
Yeah.
So how long? Do you know how long Already Lost have been together before you?
Not that long. I think probably just like a few months. I don't think
So they didn't even have like songs. Yeah.
No, they had like seven or 8 songs.
The same fucking 7 songs that they
Yeah.
played the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we maybe wrote like 1 or 2 songs like when I was in the band, like new ones.
So when did you? So you go to jam with them and just you guys hit the floor running like you're just in the band. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think it was like, Fucker's good enough, like that. I don't think like.
I
mean, no offense to anyone, but like, it was just really simple music. Like,
Yeah.
It was just punk, like
Uh-huh.
like,
There's a little pop punk songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I didn't blow them away, but you know, it's
You did. You just didn't know it, but you did.
you know,
They were fans. They were not happy to lose you.
Yeah. I don't even remember how that played out.
So you were with them long enough that I've heard a story that you toured with Idiot King because of Already Lost. You guys would like get in their fucking van and go play store. You know what? I'm lying. That's the Curbside days. Never mind. We'll get there. So, do you have any real major memories of Already Lost, or was it a short time?
We had a good time going to Reno. That was a good time actually. Tom bought like a piece of shit van. Like, piece of fucking shit. And but he was jacked about it though. Like, he was super stoked about getting this fucking van.
I can picture it.
Because it was like a 1978 fucking Chevy,
Yeah.
whatever. And it had like in the back, it had like the extended part. So like in the back, there was like a bunk bed. Like it was like a divider, so you could sleep up there. It had everything you want. Everything. Beautiful van. So we take this thing to fucking Reno, take this fucking van. It fucking broke down like 8 times. It broke down so many times. But just like the memories and the shit that happened, like that shit was cool. Like it was a cool experience. We ended up going to what the fuck did we even do? We played like a party or something. We played like a house party. But we didn't care. It was just fun. It was just fucking fun to do it.
Yeah.
But no, that was a lot of fun. That was like a 15-hour drive. It fucking took so long.
For sure.
And it broke, the van would break down. Oh god. Whatever. It was fun. That was a lot of fun. That's probably the best memory of Already Lost. That was
So
and the Minders days. Sorry.
Okay.
And that
Alright.
shit?
Yeah. I only played there maybe once. Maybe just once.
Really?
I think my first show with Already Lost was at Minders, and then I don't know that we ever played
I
there.
think I remember that shit.
Well, I mean, Curbside was on the bill, so
Yeah.
that would make sense.
I think we played right before you.
After. There's no fucking way that we didn't open for you. There's no fucking way. But, so, did you meet Curbside because of Already Lost playing with them, and you were like playing with them?
Well,
playing shows with them?
yeah, we had a show with them, and I already knew Chris. I knew Chris from high school.
What? I didn't know any of this. No.
Yeah.
I don't know this backstory shit. Okay. Like knew him, or we're just aware of him?
No, we had guitar class together. I was a sophomore. I think he was a senior, and we always kind of like we always played together well. We always like riffed off each other well. Like it was, I taught him a little bit. He taught me a little bit. Like it always we got along too. And then when he graduated, never really heard from him. It had been a few years.
Makes sense. That's nice. Yep.
And then I see him at this show. I'm like, holy shit, like you're in a fucking band? Like what the hell? He's like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. This is my band. I'm like, okay. This was back when Lee was in the band.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm aware, but I didn't know for each other.
Yeah. And I talked to Chris after the show. He was like, yeah, Lee, this is gonna be Lee's last show actually. Like this whole record on the show. I'm like, oh. And like from that point on, I don't really remember how it happened, but that's what started me
Oh, so at first were you like playing in both bands? Or was it a clean break?
It's so long. I think I was like a clean break. I think originally I just kind of quit their band, and then like
Oh, okay.
a few weeks had passed, you know.
Why? Do you remember why you quit? Was bored? It was like, I don't know.
Yeah, we weren't really doing anything. Like nothing. Like we hadn't played a show in months. Like nothing was going on.
I remember those days.
I remember that. Like I couldn't tell you what else was going on, but I remember that shit. And I was just tired.
Was there any like arguments about it or shit, or you just you didn't even like?
I mean, remember Brandon, the drummer for Already Lost?
Brandon's like, yeah, I knew Brandon from high school. Like,
Really?
the reason Already Lost had Brandon is because before I went on my mission, I introduced Tom to Brandon. And I was like,
Oh wow.
when I get home, I'm going to make a band with this guy, so if you're around, you may want to be around because me and this guy are going to be rock stars. Interesting tidbit, there's an Evening the Score song off of the very first release, off of Delusions, called Hey You. It's this song all about, like, it's like a conversation with, it almost feels like a lost love, where it's like, didn't we talk about how life was going to be great someday, and now you're gone, and I'm here, and you can't be where I am, and bummer? That song's about Brandon. Because there was a day when he and I fucking talked about, when I get back, we're doing this, and then when I got back, like, he was just gone. And my guitar, because I left my electric guitar with him, and some dude, like, stole it and went off to Mexico and stuff, so my guitar was gone.
Of course.
And then, like, years later, he and I ended up, like, being able to play. Actually, let me retract that. When I got back, he wasn't gone. He'd left Already Lost to be in Spindle. So he was gone to me. Like, I couldn't be in a band with him because he was in the biggest fucking band in East Mesa. There was no way I was going to be like, hey, come play music with me. Anyway, yes, I'm very close. I haven't talked to him in a long time. But anyway, you were in the band with Brandon. He was good.
No, he was
I mean,
really
he is
good.
good.
He was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Did you get along with him? He's an interesting guy. He's like an odd human. I like him.
I mean, we did.
It makes me
We got.
laugh. Yeah.
I went on a trip to California with them.
It sounds right.
This is after okay, so I played one show with them. Played a show. After the show, we go to California. This is already planned out.
Literally, like,
I barely
the night
know.
of, like, you just pack up your shit and get in the car?
Well, no, it was already planned. Like, I was
Okay.
going to go to California. I asked him, like, do you want to go with me? He said, yeah, I'll go. Barely knew him. Figured, like, you know, I can trust him. I don't even know why I wanted to, or I asked him to go, but he goes with me to California. And, like, the second day we're there, he fucking gets lost.
Not with you, like, he's just gone and you're like, where the
Gone.
fuck's Brandon?
He's gone. He gets lost in
That's him.
downtown LA. And this is before cell phones.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's him.
he's fucking lost in downtown LA all day, and we're looking for him. We call the police, and we reported to the police like he's missing. I'm missing fucking like two idiots. He's missing. So we reported to the police. Well, we were thinking like they're gonna help us. Like, oh, he's missing, and they're like, it's fucking LA. Get the fuck out of here. So
He's not missing, he's homeless.
Yeah.
Fuck you, he lives here now.
So, I don't know, we go back home or something. We go back to my buddy's place and live there. It's like 9 o'clock at night. Brandon comes walking through the front door.
Yes. Yes.
And we're just like, what the fuck, dude? What happened? What is, I mean, there's some cigarettes. Like, it's just some
Yep.
stupid fucking bullshit.
Yep.
Like, you need fucking cigarettes. You've been gone for 9 hours, dude. We didn't know where, you're not from here. Like, I drove you here. Like, I don't even know, who are you? I don't know anyone, you know. Who do I call? Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
What do I do if I have to go back to Arizona without you? Like, what do I do? You know? He's like, well, I don't see what you guys are mad.
Yep.
Some cigarettes. That's you, motherfucker.
That's exactly right. He
so
will fuck
fucking
everybody else's day up and be like, we're fine. It's good.
I
Nope.
wanted to fucking murder him. Fucking murder that dude.
It blows my brain that that man has spawned. Like there's a little boy in this world somewhere.
Yeah, I forgot about
that's
that.
like it's him.
He's old by now.
It's like a genetic-
Fucking kid's probably like 20 at least, right?
No, but yeah, definitely like
Almost.
teenage, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because he... Oh, no, don't blow my head like that. Is that fucking true?
I was like 20.
Shit, I think you're right.
So he's probably 18.
Oh.
I don't know.
Someday I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna walk into a grocery store and I'm just gonna see a kid and I'm gonna know that's his fucking kid. I'll be like,
It's gonna look like John
shit.
Travolta. But like a short, fat version of John Travolta.
I've never thought John Travolta when I looked at Brandon's face, and that's all I'm gonna think. That's it. Well, when we were in high school,
He's not fat either.
no, he's always been like he just
big bone.
he's like thick.
Beautiful specimen.
He's such a. I mean, to be fair, last time I saw him, which was only like 3 years ago, probably.
Where'd you see him?
Well, the thing is, he and I have a mutual friend in Glenn. And I've known Glenn since I was like 6 fucking years old. He's just one of those long-ass time friends of mine. And so, for some reason, Brandon stays in touch with Glenn. So as me and Glenn will like hang out from time to time, and we've been musical too. We had this band called Chloroform. It was like genius music.
Chloroform?
Dude, don't get me started on the most brilliant music that you'll never hear, because this fucking guy's too insecure to put out a record. Drives me crazy. It's fucking brilliant.
I'm
It's
intrigued
like-
by the name.
It's like Nirvana and Tool, fucked Pink Floyd, and
It's like
some
Minus
weird.
the Bear. Like Minus the Bear.
I've heard of them. I don't think I've heard of the music. I've heard of the
I
name.
just have a good feeling about this. And it's like Minus the Bear.
It's really like it's. To me, it feels like.
Go on.
It's like the White Stripes.
Oh, okay.
With lyrics that are about the most hyperly, like, poetically sexual and existential shit you've ever heard. Like, the chorus of one of my favorite songs is "My cock is dead, bit off its own head." But the way he sings it, you're like, damn. Like, it's this really heavy melodic chorus, and the lyrics just happen to be "My cock is dead, bit off its own head." And I think the back half is like "My organ's sad, delightfully mad." Like, as a lyricist, he's fucking crazy. My point is, Brandon was the drummer in that thing. And so from time to time, he'd pop back up into the world, and he'd just kind of like he just showed up at your buddy's place in California. He'd just show up at Glenn's house. And so Glenn would like text me or something and be like, "Brandon's over, come over and hang out." And then we'd all sit around his back porch table and bullshit and have a good time. And we'd usually end up in the band room and playing Chloroform songs or Nirvana covers or just whatever, because we all come from a similar whatever, so we just know a lot of the same shit. So my point is, I've seen Brandon like within the last few years, and it's rough, dude. Like, he put on a good amount of weight. So now, when you say he's not fat, back in the day he wasn't fat, now he's fat. His hair's usually longer, like kind of shoulder-ish length. I don't know exactly what happened, but his teeth, like his grill is a mess. Like meth level mess. But I don't know that he's been doing any hard drugs or been crazy. I think he's just... I remember one time, he actually moved in with me and my wife not long before we actually like separated and eventually got divorced, because he popped back into me and Glenn's world. At the time, Glenn was still, he wasn't quite out on his own yet, and so he's like, I can't fucking do anything about this guy's problems, and so I'm like, well, send him my way. And so I just threw him in a corner in one of our rooms, and he just set up this little sleeping pad and shit, and he lived with us for probably a month or two, and he got a job at like McDonald's where you could like skateboard back and forth to McDonald's, and literally like it was so weird. He would use his state like government benefits card at like the fucking convenience store or the gas station or some shit, and because you can't buy cigarettes with that, and you can't buy anything that he actually wants, he would just buy and fill up our fridge with energy drinks. The irony being, this guy has actual, like, he came to us after being released from a mental institution where he had been staying because he just had a fucking breakdown. So this guy is on medication and has actual chemical issues, and he's just like, look at all this stuff that I got with my card. And, like, he's just the most...
So you still talking about Brandon?
Yes, I don't think I would even call him irresponsible. I don't know if the dude has a grip, like a grasp on self-sustenance. he's not the kind of person that can like take care of himself. He just kind of impassionately lives his life. He just does whatever. Like, for example, Glenn. He was like, he'd moved in with Glenn, which was the last time either Glenn or I saw him. And he was there for, I guess, a month or so. And Glenn was telling me over like phone calls and text messages, he's like, I'm fucking tired of this kid living here. Like, he's just driving me crazy. Because every time Glenn would come home, like, after a long day doing, like, you know, exhausting work at the hospital and shit where he works, Brandon would just be all over and be like, hey, you want to hang out? You want to have some food? Blah, blah, blah. And he was just like, Jesus Christ, give me the fake. So at some point, he said Brandon just either texted him or left a note that he's like, hey, I'm going to go to Mexico. And Glenn came home and his shit was all gone and he was just gone. Just like your California story. And no, to my knowledge, nobody's heard from him since. And that was like a couple years ago. So he's weird like that. Like, he just kind of goes where the wind takes him. Problem being, at least in America, where's that going to put you in your 50s and 60s? Where are you going to live? What's going to, like, you're so at some point what's going to happen is those of us who are working and, you know, trying to, like, put together some kind of, like, death plan for ourselves for when this planet finally takes us, one day he's just going to show up at one of our fucking doors and we're going to be like, you know the couch is yours, bro. Like, that's how much we love you. I don't care. Yeah, I'm sorry that you're still floating around this fucking world, but if you need a place to stay, it's right over there. And I mean, as far as I know, he's never stolen from Glenn or anything. Like, he's not malicious. He's just a very weird dude. So anyway, you were in a band with him for a minute.
No, wait.
You went to...
No.
Then we gotta say it? Okay. Brandon. All right.
The first thing he says, okay, so he goes to California with me.
Yeah.
To go visit a friend who lives in, like, I mean, it's like a super nice part of town, but it's like a nicer part of town. Like, these people are letting us stay with them. Like, my buddy lived with someone else who owns this house, like, in Huntington Beach. Like, it's a nice place.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, fuck this stuff. Ugh. Anyway.
We can poop or pee or blow your nose, whatever you need to. We can edit the shit out of this, and we're not stuck on the couch, wherever we can go.
So we go to their house. This is after, like, 7-hour drive, whatever. Get there, and like I still barely know Brandon. Like, I got to know him a little bit on the drive. I knew enough to know, like, okay, this guy's a little off, but nice enough.
Just a silly guy.
Yeah,
Just a very
but a nice
silly
enough guy.
Yeah.
I can trust him.
Sure.
But he's fucking off.
Mm-hmm.
So we fucking go to his house, my buddy Steve, his house. We open the door, I introduce him, like, hey, yada yada, it's my buddy, it's Brandon, Steve. Like, hey, nice to meet you. We go in, meet, like, his land, like, the owners of the house. And I meet them, I meet Brandon. Brandon's like, alright, where's the shitter at? I gotta take a fucking shit. And I'm just like,
yep.
I'm like, oh shit.
That's it. You're like, it's 2 o'clock already? Alright, there it is.
I was like, oh my god. Oh my god. And Brandon's just straight faced, like,
Yeah.
where's the shitter?
Mm-hmm.
And like the fucking owners of the house was like, like, this is fucking Huntington Beach. Like, there's like, I can show you. Would you like me to show you? Yeah. Where's it at? I'm gonna fucking bomb it. I'm gonna bomb that fucking place.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be a good trip.
He does. He could,
Or a
like,
bad one.
Brandon insecure, not a good thing. That's when things are gonna really start bending out of shape, when he's not comfortable with where he's at, or with who he's talking to. He's just like, I'll show you how badass I am. We don't need to know, bro. It's fine. Like, we could all just be cool people right now. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey.
I have to imagine that experience was some degree of what it was like when Artie lost Brandon to Spindle. I have to imagine when he talked to him about it, it was that kind of bullshit. Where he's just like, where's the shitter, man? I gotta go be in this bigger band. Sorry, guys. Like, I don't know. I just feel like when he's not comfortable with something, he just puffs up for some reason, which is not the right way to present that, but it's him.
Yeah. Yeah. I fucking Brandon. I don't know. Like I said, nice guy. He always had good intentions.
He's a sweet human.
He was fucking.
And I mean, I've seen that guy fall the fuck apart, and like he's a very sensitive guy.
He was on to heroin, wasn't he? Wasn't he heroin? Is that his shit?
I wouldn't doubt it, but I've never heard
I'm
anybody
not
say
saying
that.
talk shit about the guy. I'm just.
I don't know. Like I wouldn't put
I'm
past
speaking
it.
very matter of factly. I don't give a fuck if he does heroin, or if anyone does heroin. I'm just
From what
if
he comes from,
did heroin.
it makes sense that he would want to.
Sure.
Totally. And obviously all of his heroes were a bunch of fucking heroin addicts and, suicide victims and all that shit. So, interestingly enough, it wouldn't surprise me if he's done heroin or even done it a lot. And it does surprise me, based on who his heroes are, that he's still alive from having, gone down that path. But it's also just other things that I don't know about. Like, I don't know where his sense of conservative decency comes from. I don't know where he, draws a line. Like, I've seen him even, talk with his baby mama to just try to get, visitation for his son. And I've seen him, clean up and be real, genuine and earnest. And, there's both sides of him. But, yeah, he's a really, he's a messed up guy.
Yeah.
Not in the sense that, I don't mean that in the sense that I'm just like, that guy's messed up, but I mean, he is he's functionally, messed up. And it's not fun to watch. I mean, I don't know. It's not. I don't know that I'm comfortable calling myself one of his closest friends. I don't think that's. After that story I told you about him moving in with me, I mean, I guess I'd be on the list for sure. We're on top of the list, but. Even as close as I am to him, I don't know that if someone was writing a biography about him, I don't know that I would have much to say because I don't know. I can't really say who he is.
I would
I could just
California stories.
tell you. Yeah, I can tell you my observations. I can tell you stories about what I have witnessed him do, but I'm not sure who he is on the inside. Really.
Yeah.
I think if anything, I think he's a really artistic, really ambitious person that just can't seem to get out of his own fucking way.
I was going to say that, yeah.
It's just really sad. I think that's where Hey You came from, in me, where it was just songs with me generally come after, instances of, high impact, emotional...
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so, I haven't even really written songs about my ex-wife for the most part. There's people that you would think, oh, there's a lot of emotional, it just doesn't come out of me. But for some reason, that song came out of me because I was so convinced that when I got back from Pittsburgh, that he and I were going to hook up and we're going to fucking take on the world. And maybe we wouldn't be the best band in the world on our first album, maybe we wouldn't be the best band in the world on our fourth album, but we'd have it fucking figured out by our 10th.
Yeah.
And we'd be a legitimate, tour, and I guess that comes back to the fact that, jamming with that kid, we'd be in these bands where we'd be playing these songs, just whatever we were playing these songs. And then the bands were all going a smoke break. And Brandon and I would stay in the room. He'd get on drums, and I'd get on guitar, get on some instrument I wasn't playing, and we'd jam through Blink-182 covers, or whatever, just stuff that we liked. And so it was that, we just worked really hard at our craft, which is why I think he was such a great drummer. He worked really hard at it, and he listened really carefully to, great drummers, and he could, mimic what they were doing, so he could do Dave Grohl shit, and he could do Travis Barker shit. He was really interested in great drummers, so, in my mind, with the level of greatness that I felt that I could accomplish musically if I really just put everything to the fucking side and went for it, in my head, Brandon was the perfect fucking rhythm section to actualize that. So that song, I still play it from time to time, and every time I play it, I'm just what the fuck? Because I think about the Brandon that you were just talking about. Just the weird guy. I'm just I'm even a little weird. I have weird tendencies. My Pornhub searches are, I don't know, I'm always trying to like find some new height of pleasure explosion, but even inside of that, like I strive to hold a job down and I try to like, participate in America.
Sure.
But Brandon's just like, nah, I'm good. Like he's just gonna go be his own fucking I don't know, he's just gonna wander this world. He's like a nomadic. I don't know. I have no words. That's why if a biographer said that, I'd be like, I don't fucking know. That's what you should call this book. I don't fucking know. The Brandon Bartle story, because Jesus Lord. Anyway, so
nomadic John Travolta.
So the funny thing is, I bet fucking Scientology would have eaten him alive. Like if someone would have gotten to him with Scientology, Brandon would have been their Tom Cruise. He would have fucking taken over that religion. I'm convinced. So you leave Already Lost, and then a short time later you sign on with Curbside. What? First of all, I guess equipment-wise, because my knowledge of you as just watching you as a fan on stage, you and that fucking OLP, that like kind of light pinkish purple guitar that you've been playing for fucking ever, is awesome. And that's all I can remember you playing. So I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Did you already have that?
I've had that guitar since I was 19.
Okay, so it was in Already Lost with you.
Yeah.
And went on with you to Curbside.
Yeah, I bought that shit before an Already, like the day of an Already Lost show, right before it. And I was like 19, like I was so dumb. I didn't even know what I was buying, but I mean, thank God I bought what I bought. It's fucking awesome. So I was like a 19-year-old kid with like $1,000 cash, just going to the Guitar Center looking for an electric guitar.
And it's such a it's not a standard popular guitar. It's kind of a
it's kind of a
unique.
niche.
It's eye-catching. It's really cool.
Yeah, and people who know about early music bands, I guess you could say.
Is it a music band? I know OLP is like their Squire line, like it's the cheaper one. Is what you have like a straight up Ernie Ball music band, like the real thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Never mind what I said before.
What's an OLP?
It's like Fender has Squire and Gibson has Epiphone, like they have those low end things. Yeah. OLP is music bands. They have like a low end line called OLP. Bass guitars, shit. I have bass guitars as well. Anyhow.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought your guitar was. I thought it was like a low end music band.
Oh no, it's legit.
That's badass. So you went.
But like I said, I had no idea what I was buying.
I like that.
I just told the guy. I think it was like the price on it was like $900, blah blah blah. And I just told the guy, "Can I give you $1,000 and give you a case and yada yada." I got it all the free shit I could. And he's looking at me. He's like, "You have $1,000 cash on you?" I was just like a dumbass. Like I showed him like, "Yeah." And he just kind of laughed. Like,
it's amazing.
He was nice to me. He could have fucking.
Yeah. Yep. As they do.
Yeah, he let me have my moment that day. But anyways, yeah, I thought the guitar kicks ass, dude. That's a good guitar. It's versatile. Like it has a lot of different sounds.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of like jazz stuff. You can do a lot of metal stuff. You can do. It's a sweet guitar. I love that guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big fan of music bands.
So you land in Curbside. As far as I know, by that time they had most of the album A Better Place written. Like those were the songs they were playing at shows and shit.
Yeah.
And I think the three song was already out because Lee was in the band.
Yeah, that was already out. That was. Yeah, for the most part, they had all their shit written when I joined. I kind of just added like backups and like guitar riffs. There was one song I kind of like halfway wrote through my head.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about.
I do, but I thought it was like a song. That thing. I figured it was a song that one of them had written, and then you just are fucking. So you just like rip this thing out, and they're like, "That's how the song starts now," because you were just like, so.
Like that chord progression and that riff that goes over it.
Yeah.
I wrote that months before, probably before I even met them. And I just showed it to them, and they fucking liked it.
Hang on, pause. Let's talk for a second about how powerful what you just said is, because here's what all of you listeners have to understand. So this album came out in whatever it was, fucking 2006 or some shit. In a better place. You can find it on all your streaming platforms and shit. It's great, but you have to understand that, like, as great as all the songs were that were on it, this motherfucker, Collin, joins Curbside High, throws this riff out and these chord patterns out that the guys are then like, that's fucking cool, and they write a song on it, and it becomes the opening song on the album. You step into the band and you write the opening song, an album of songs that have already been there for like fucking 4 or 5 years, or however long it took them to like collect all that shit.
I didn't write the whole thing. Chris wrote it.
That blows my mind. I love that. And it speaks to you as a writer. Like you have a very. We're gonna get to that. We are gonna get to that. So you weren't there for the 3 song, but you were there for the recording of A Better Place. What was your Bob Hogue experience like? What was your Flying Blanket experience like? I've never met him. I've just heard stories.
So I kind of had an idea of the kind of person that he that doesn't sound right. The kind of producer that he was. Like I had an idea. I knew he was kind of more indie rock. I knew he was a little more traditional. He was in a tape. He likes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's super anal about. He's very meticulous. Very meticulous.
Yeah.
We did takes. I did the same thing 100 times before I finally liked him. You know.
Yeah.
And I knew that going into it. Looking back, I think maybe he wasn't the best choice. He's more like, he didn't like our band. He didn't like our style. Which, we knew that too. So it's like, why are we going? You know, he doesn't like our shit.
It's a good question. Why did you? Just because it was the hip local band thing to do? Like
that's where you go.
Yeah.
If you live in Mesa and you want to record an album, that's where you go. Because honestly, there weren't a lot of other choices back then. It was probably still on tape, right?
That's what I hear. Like the Heartless, when they talked about their experience with him, they were like, the hardest part for them was like, he kept pulling out these fucking vintage amps and bullshit, and they're like, do you know who we are?
Yeah, right.
Like this, how is this supposed to make us sound like us?
Yeah.
And I think like they regret the first album, and then I think by the second album, like, I don't know, maybe Chris just had more vision, and so he was able to like work with Bob and Jeff at that time was in the band and also like, you know, producer in his own right. I think he already started his own studio and shit, so he could kind of. Anyway, point being, yeah, they were talking about how he's just a more raw and pop punk needs production. Pop punk needs like
it needs to sound
heavy Mesa Boogie guitars and crunch and all this shit. Yeah.
Right. And Bob Hogue, he's just it's not.
Yes.
He doesn't produce pop punk, which is whatever.
Right.
That's what he does.
It's ironic because this is the time pop punk was blowing up in East Mesa. So you would think, like, as a producer, he's like, you know, I could probably pull in some bands if I have some different equipment over here.
And even before us, right before we went into the studio, Scary Kids Scary Kids, they did their EP right before us.
Yeah.
And I thought that sounded pretty fucking good. Have you remember what it sounds like? You heard it?
No, I've heard some of the songs.
It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Especially considering they were like teenagers. I know a lot of people give them a lot of shit because they're evidently they're cocky or this and that. I don't know. I don't know them personally. I've heard some stories about it, but I don't fucking know. I like their music though, and I like the way that EP sounds. It had like a really like hollow sound to it. I think.
Explain hollow. I don't know if I can understand that in terms of rock music.
It just sounded like you were listening to it in like a fucking weird like fucking cave or like weird like just creepy fucking.
Oh, you mean the space, like the audio space of you listening to the record?
Yeah.
It's almost like you were in their practice room. Like you could hear the walls and you could hear the.
Yeah. It just had it was raw, like had a raw sound to it, but it was more than that. It was very like. It sounded like you were just in like some fucking cave. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
But anyways, Good
So
fucking CD.
you liked that, and then you went in to have your Bob Hope experience. And even as you're listening to like the dailies and shit, you're listening to how it's going. It's just like, wow, we're not scaring any kids here. Good shit.
Well, part of me was excited because it was like this is the first time I'd really like made an album before. They had done the one before, the other guys.
Which was also in Bob, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The 3 songs?
And that's why they went back. It was really good.
Wow.
And I mean, like I said, I was excited, but I'm listening to it and I'm just like, it could be a little more punchy, like punchier. It could be like, it just lacked punch. Is what it is. I remember we told him specifically we wanted to be like bassier than the last one. And he made it bassier, but it's not punchy. It doesn't have
Now, I don't want
off
to
and on.
be mean-spirited here, because I have zero ilk for this gentleman, but when you say you want it bassier, I can't help but think that your bass player, at the time, and probably still today, maybe doesn't shine in the area of bass guitar, so you would think that the bass sound being more evident might not necessarily sell the music more. Is that what you mean? Or are you meaning just thicker guitars? Like, what do you mean when you mean bassier? JP, I love you! When you watch this, don't you dare, don't think those things. Love you.
Oh, God. No, I don't know, man. It just... I remember JP practiced. He practiced a lot for that album.
He sounds good on that album.
Yeah. Now he never practices. That's why he lacks a little bit.
He still sounds good.
Admittedly,
He still does a good job.
he'll even tell you. He doesn't
tries
fucking
hard.
practice. Sure, he tries hard. Sure he tries hard. But he doesn't fucking practice. He doesn't care to practice. He doesn't have time to practice. That's fine, because, like...
He's no worse of a bass player than Mark Hoppus, and I think that's saying something.
I don't... What?
He's a pop punk bass player, and I think he fills the shit out of it. I really do think so.
But it just wasn't... It just wasn't punchy.
I agree with you. It's a really...
It's just kind of like this. The whole album is this.
Yeah.
There's no, like, oh, you know...
Yeah. Yes. Yes. It's like
It's very...
the movements in the music, like the swelling, and it's like, for whatever reason, Bob couldn't figure out how to capitalize on your sound. And so it was just a record.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I still listen to that record and it still gets me excited, still wants me, like, I still want to go see a Curbside show after I listen to that album. It's not a bad album, but to your point, like, yeah, it's just not like, I don't know, like when I hear like the early Nest albums, like it's just such a, fuck, it just tears your face off.
Very crisp.
Yeah, very crisp. Yep. And Bob, yeah, he's just like,
He's got crunch.
he's using the shit that the Beatles used to make the records, and it's like, yeah, you're not gonna get like FM crispness out of that. When you make a Bob Hogue album, you're making an AM album. So buckle up for an AM indie sound, and you guys are a pop punk band. That's not what it's supposed to sound like. I think the Heartless was the same way. At least that first record. Yeah, it was just really AM radio. Let's not say it's a bad record, but yeah, it's just like. First one, this could take some getting used to. It's on whatever it is, music on. But anywho, so the Bob experience was fine. I'm curious because of my own association with Curbside, like my own very small stint in the band when you weren't in the band anymore. It feels like you guys experienced a lot of fandom up to the making of and release of A Better Place. And then it feels like everything like aggressively fell off after that. And I'm not sure why. I know you guys' sound started to change specifically because, and I'm glad we got to this, because I am going to try to stop myself from just taking your dick out of your pants and having a good time right now. The sound started to change specifically because your songs started to creep in and change things. in a really good way. But again, on a fandom basis, it seems like a Better Place would have gotten people so stoked, and then fucking Collin showing up and being a little confident and stepping forward. It's like a Better Place would have got him to the show, and you would have just gotten him wet. And that didn't happen. So I'm curious, like, when did your stuff really start showing up into like band practices and became like a part of the?
It was probably around that time, like around after we released that CD. I think mostly just because we knew we needed new songs, and like I think at the time Chris, who was like our main songwriter, he was kind of preoccupied with shit. He was going to school.
Yeah.
I think he got married. Probably got married. Probably got married.
And his wife at the time was not a fan of you so much. I mean, that's changed since, and
I don't know.
God bless, you know, new chapters and new pages. But at the time, she wasn't a fan of your, you know, that jokey part of you, that part of you that just really leans in and commits to like seemingly arrogant humor, like that kind of Seinfeld, fuck everybody else kind of way of looking at the world. And I think the reason that Chris and I would giggle so hard is because I think, in a way that, because of maybe our Mormon past or just whatever, like, that we can't really sink our teeth into and be ourselves, we're so jealous of you. To just have the space, or created that space where you could just be so confidently, you know, just kind of self-assured and arrogant anyway. But she wasn't a fan, so I imagine that.
You're only 20 once.
But no one's smart enough to know that at 20, and yet here you are, Collin, just being like, it's fine. This can't go that way, right?
I guess that's one compliment I will give myself. I had perspective at a young age. I remember like being, and I'm not even kidding, I remember being like, even at that show, our CD release show, when I was 20, I just turned 21. Like, our CD release show, there was 500 fucking people in the audience.
Yeah.
Like, I could see people as far as my eyes could see. Like, I could see people. And there's fucking lights and like sound system, and I'm like, fucking 21 years old. This is just stupid. Like, it's stupid. I don't know, like...
Have you thought about it since, like, how your experience in that show would have changed if you would have had if you would have known what was coming after that? That, like, that was as high as it would ever get? Because outside of you guys maybe, like, opening at the Heartless CD release show at Marquee, I don't know if there was any other experiences where you just had, like, a packed fucking house.
Oh, yeah, that was
like,
the peak. That was the... What was it called? Vacation House?
I think it was the venue in Scottsdale when you guys... It did just transition from the Cajun House to venue in Scottsdale when you guys played it.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. There was people in the rafters, or whatever you call that, like, fucking balcony play, like, everywhere.
It was fucking crazy.
It was nuts. And I went backstage at one point, and then you all, like, left the stage because Brandon was doing his fucking guitar, his drum solo. I was expecting to see, like, you guys shaking with just adrenaline, and you were just so giddy. Like, JP was just so like, are you seeing this? I'm like, I know, this is fucking crazy. Yeah. And then the irony is, we played Already Lost, because I was in Already Lost at the time, your old band, and we played after you guys because there was some fuck up. We were supposed to play, like, the 7 or 8 o'clock set, and at the last minute, the Heartless jumped on, and just because they were kind of booming at the time, like, just whatever happened, they got our slot, and we got bumped to, like, midnight or 1 in the morning or something. Oh, wow. So I watched you guys murder a full room of people who were so stoked to, like, hear your shit, and we took the stage at, like, midnight or 1 in the morning or whatever. Literally 5 people standing, like, in a row in front of the stage while we played. No shit. I can almost tell you who each face was. And it was so... It was one of those moments for me where I was just like, fuck! I had like an Already Lost moment where I'm like, if you didn't already know you're in a band that nobody gives a fuck about, drink it in, brother. Because this is right here. This is how many people care about what you do. Jesus. That being said, like, how... Did you have high expectations after you left that show that night of like, dude, we're the fucking shit. Everyone loves us.
Dude, I got so much pussy that night. So in that sense, yeah. I remember I left that show. Dude, for the next, like, I'm not even kidding, for the next, like, 2 weeks, I was banging so many random chicks from that, just because of that show. Just because of that show.
You know what?
All the time.
I just said a bunch of very nice things about that show, and I meant them all. Here's one critical thing I will say. You guys looked fucking ridiculous.
Wait a minute.
Do you remember, like, just the skate punk, like, high socks and trucker hats and, like, the bullshit that you guys, like, put together to try to look professional?
Yeah.
Curbside High had never looked like this. They'd never played a single show where they looked like this, and we're all just like, what? But it was still cool. It was still you guys, and it was fine, but...
I mean, that's just how I dressed, and I don't know.
I don't even remember, like, even up to that point, I don't feel like you were even in the bandana phase yet, because that came after. You were in the bandana at fucking Marquee, which was, you know, like a year later or some shit, but, like, you guys would just... I guess there was, like, hats. Yeah, Chris had longer hair at the time.
I know what you mean.
It was overblown. It was like, what the fuck?
There was formula to it.
Yeah,
you know?
yes. Very planned, very articulated,
Yeah.
but not in a way that made sense with anything you guys had ever done. It was almost like you were just like, meet the new Curbside High! And everybody was like, we all know you'll never do this again. Like, why you're not gonna be this, I don't know, loud about it. Why are you doing this for this show? Wasn't even, did you guys have, like, photographers? I don't think there was even, like, people videoing it. Like, I guess Chris told me there was, like, a videotape that we tried to...
I have no idea.
Anyway.
I mean, this is before fucking cell phone and shit, so there wasn't a whole lot of video or pictures.
That's a good point. What was this? Yeah, this was like 06, I guess, was when Better Place came out? Or was it 05 or some shit like that? But
2003, 2004.
well, I joined Already Lost in like 04. And I don't think I was opening for your asses that quickly, but I don't know. Hey, fucking hell. So, you were getting pussy, good for you.
Oh, that was great. Great show for me.
I don't imagine that you were heavily involved in the booking or kind of the business end of the band, selling CDs, From what you saw from the guys that were doing that, do you think that they capitalized on like the coolness of that show, or do you think that they just expected the booking offers to roll in and all the horse shit and then just the phone never rang? Like, what do you think happened?
I don't even remember too much of it. I remember thinking that, like, at least me personally, I remember thinking we didn't have to try it hard. No, we don't have to try this right now. We have to do one amazing show. Like,
That's funny.
people are gonna call us. Like, we don't. And like,
That just didn't happen.
Never. That's.
How much in your life have you been approached about or complimented about Curbside High? Like, do people really know that you're involved in that? Has it like stayed with people? Has it had like a staying impact? Do people keep listening to it or keep remembering it?
No, not really. Like, but
is that because your social group was never Curbside High fans? Like, that was a world you were involved in, but it wasn't really your life? Wow.
But it's crazy though. Like, I'll find the most random circumstances where someone has heard our music. It's just so random. Like, I remember one time I was sitting at a party. I was like 27, 28 years old. So like 8, 9 years ago. I'm at a party and like our song "Not Right" comes on. The person's it's probably on iTunes.
Yeah.
It comes on there, fucking. Shit. You know, I'm just sitting there like. Yeah. I didn't even know whose house it was. So I was like, who the fuck? Do I recognize these people? Like, so shit like that. It's just random times. But no one ever says, like, Curbside.
Yeah.
Like, you're back with them, huh? Like, I never have those conversations.
You know, it's funny. I was reminded within the last few years, and I don't know why that is, but I just started getting emails that reminded me that when I was in Curbside, I put at least Not Right, if not maybe a few other songs on this site called Number One Music. Because remember back in the day when the internet was kind of like, back in the MySpace days when there wasn't like Facebook or just some centralized place where everybody went to like hear their shit and stuff. There was just websites everywhere. There was Reverb Nation, AZ Punk, which is all this horse shit. And like it was kind of your job as a local band to just be on all of them, as many as you could. Well, there's one called Number One Music, and I was like, fuck it, it's free, whatever, I'll get on this. And so I put Not Right on there. And I've been getting emails for like the last year or so letting me know that it's a charting song. Like it's in the fucking the Number One Music charts for pop punk in the US. And then apparently there's an email list of over 400 people that fucking love Curbside and want to know more.
Oh my god.
And that makes me giggle because in the sense of what we've been talking about, that like after that big show, after the CD finally came out, like things just sort of fizzled. It's funny to me that the more people hear that music, it is relevant and it is good, and lots of people do think that, and so it just kind of makes me wonder, like, in the sense that, like, as I've gone to your recent shows and I've watched how something I learned about Chris from being in the afterlife with him is Chris makes something, and Chris will play something for X amount of time before Chris gets bored with the fucking thing that he made, and then he fucking hates it with his entire soul. And something that I've noticed about the way you guys have been playing since you've been coming back is, and I'm not sure this is completely coming out of Chris's head, but it seems like there's such a fucking boredom with what those songs were that you guys are doing everything you can to reinvent them and to like brush off the dust and make them something different. And as a fan, standing in the crowd as a fan, loving those songs, what I'm noticing is the reimagining and reinventing of those songs is being done with little to no understanding of why that song was great in the first place. To the point that all of the art, the artisticness that's going into the reinventing of the song, because it's definitely being done with thought, is transforming the song into something that doesn't work. In the same way that when Nirvana played Unplugged in New York, they were really specific about which one of their own songs they played, because they're just like, yeah, Senseless Apprentice isn't gonna fucking work acoustic, so we're not gonna fucking play that song. Like, similarly, they knew what would sort of translate, or they knew kind of how to do it. It intrigues me how, in an attempt to like reinvent yourselves or become like fresh to an audience, in some ways it seems like one or all of you have sort of like fallen out of love with what was great about those songs, and so you just don't. You're painting with a color that kind of doesn't belong on the canvas that you're putting it on. And I'm not 100% sure that I'm the only person who feels that way, but I'm curious in a way that I know that since you're in the band, I imagine you don't want to, put yourself at odds with the band with any kind of negative opinion, but I'm just curious if you, in the process of being in the rooms when those reinventions were being done, if there's any moments where you're like, why does the stop song sound like this, man? I don't understand what's fucking happening.
Man, do you mean the acoustic stuff? Or what do you mean?
Some of that too, yeah. Like, Mr. Optimistic. I think a long time ago, Chris and I were tossing around the idea of like doing this acoustic Curbside High CD and just taking some of the songs and acousticizing. And we were talking about Mr. Optimistic specifically because I just always thought it was kind of this really like wistful, I don't know, kind of like a solemn song. And I'm like, that would probably work really well acoustically. But then hearing him recently like take it hard into the acoustic realm, it's almost like it's so slow and whispery that it's pure performance and has thus lost the meaning. Does that make sense? Like, how do you sing these lyrics and mean them? I don't know that you do it that way. I think you have to sort of sing it. I don't know, Chris is kind of, it's just gotten really kind of windy, kind of just situated and really really just I guess a lot slower than I heard it in my head, where I was just like, no, I mean it's still, it's not like bouncy like the original Mr. Optimistic, but it's like Spindle has this song called Said and Done off the Self-Titled album. It's that, where it's like Green Day, Good Riddance. It's that. You know, that song is like, it's slower, but it's still, it's not about, it's about the way he's singing it. It's about like the another turning point, like the, I guess the thoughtfulness with which it's being performed. And I was just impressed based on, I guess the reason it bothered me so much is because I actually do have a lot of respect for Chris's artistry, and then to like listen to what he did with it, I'm just like, why? Like, if you had to explain that in words, if you had to write an essay about why you did it that way, could you? Or were you just jerking yourself off in the room and that's how it came out? Like, does it mean anything to you when you sing those words, like this situation's killing me? Or are you just taking a once great song and just playing it a different way? Have you ever heard, do you know who Aha is? Did you know that that MTV did an unplugged thing with them a few years back? Okay, nobody did, except for Aha fans, which is the way it should be. But something that's genius about that I highly recommend you looking up and checking out is the song, fuck me, what is that super famous Aha song? Yes, Take On Me. The way that they did that live, I'll say genius. Like, they slowed it down, because what are you going to do? It's an acoustic environment and stuff, but like, how delicately they played Take On Me. Takes a song that you already love for different reasons, and you're singing along to in your mind just because it's that great, and it just puts chills down every inch of your skin, because now, instead of like this, it's almost like that, George, who the fuck was I just talking about? I made fun of you, and I was like, if you would have played piano, you would have been him. George Michael. The fucking, the Wham song, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Like, you listen to that song, and it's very, like, you know, dancey and stuff. But the truth is, that song was probably written when George Michael woke up in an empty bed, missing the person who had left, and wishing that they were there. Because that's what the lyrics are about. Take On Me, like, to hear the way that they did it on the Unplugged brings that element into it, where like you're like, you're just so, you miss whoever got away, because that's what that song's about. So my point is, I imagine Chris being sort of the ringleader of the transition of these songs. Like, what's your point of view on how I feel bad having like talked a whole bunch of shit just now, leading up to then asking you that question, because what are you gonna say after I just talked a bunch of shit? But like, what's your 2 cents on like where some of these songs have ended up now?
I'll definitely say that some of them are kind of just for fun. Just a different way to do something. Just something new. And I kind of think we're all maybe getting a little, like, not tired of doing, like, a full band thing, or you know, but just kind of, like it's stupid reasons. Like, acoustic shows, like, you can actually hear yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's that, for me, it's that simple. Like, it's great, I can play this song and I can hear myself. It's great.
That's interesting.
I mean, for my shit, like the shit that I write it on acoustic anyways, so it usually translates fairly well.
Yep.
Chris's stuff, I see what you mean. It's totally different. Like the way he did Mr. Optimistic is way different. I mean, I like it.
Okay.
I'm not like a huge fan of that song to begin with, and I don't think he is either. So
he's not. That's why he did what he did to it, I believe.
Right. It was almost just something different and new to throw in the middle of the set. I don't know. even for me, like I didn't bother learning the parcels to sing, and I didn't practice enough to really like make it sound.
Coming from the days of like streaming through like 2.5, 3 minute pop punk songs to now these kind of like 6+ minute acoustic songs, do you enjoy, I guess, the chillness of it, or is there a piece of you that's like, dude, let's fucking turn it up to 11 and rock out like the old days? I mean, there's more pussy in hard rock, right? Is there? How's the love line been since the acoustic?
Honestly, you're right. You're right. I prefer doing acoustic, like singing.
Because you can hear yourself, and it's more satisfying to like really perform, rather than hope that you're getting it right, because you can't hear it.
Yeah, but even on top of that, like, I think I'm at the point now where, like, when I write a song, like, the original intention is for me to sing it alone acoustic. And like, I'll bring it to the band, and we'll probably make something of it. But that's the way that I wrote it. Like, I wrote it as my alone acoustic. That's kind of the way I've always written songs. So, I don't know.
I mean, that does beg an interesting question. Considering you are complete enough as an individual musically, and your music is unique enough and really impactful, why continue to only like offer it to the world through the gateway of this band that you happen to be like related to? Like, if you went out and just made it on your own and played like side acoustic shows, did your own shit, and still stayed in Curbside High and played all the shit they wrote, you think it would bother them? You think you'd be like, what the fuck, that's a good song, why can't we play that? Well, why don't you just like go do this the way you wrote it, the way it's intended?
Well, I feel like, I think the way that I write, even though I've written it with the intention of being just acoustic solo, like that's the way I've written it. It's still fun to give that to others and be like, okay, like make something of this and see what happens. And I'm not like, I don't know, I'm not saying we have to do it like this is my music, this is the way I'm doing it. Like, I'm open to being like, okay, this is the song I wrote, like, let's come up with some cool shit and play it. I don't know.
It's interesting that you, and maybe speaks to, we've been talking, all night about your the way you can come off arrogant and just sort of person, the way you come off. What you just said there, to me, maybe speaks to why you're in an active working band and seem to be doing that well, and I'm out here on the fringe with my bullshit solo project, and basically everybody just not giving a shit about it because you still enjoy collaboration.
Yeah.
And you're not like so consumed by a personal vision that you're like, I love you guys, but I need it to be this way. I need it to sound this way. I need it to come off this way. Because I'm like, I need that solidarity. I'm like, I'm sorry that I hear your part in my head. Sorry you don't get to come in and write something because I already hear your part in my head in this particular song. Maybe in another song you can write what you want, but in this song, sorry, I already wrote your part.
I do the same thing too. Like, I'll tell JP, like, no, this is what we're gonna do. Like, and he'll do it. Like, and Brandon too. Like, Brandon will write a beat, or like, no. And he'll do it. He'll just do it.
Wow. Well, fuck me then. I guess you're just a likable guy. You can be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, whatever.
Well, plus, like, I wouldn't even. I probably wouldn't even write these songs if I didn't know these guys, and like, I didn't have like.
You want me to just stop you right there and argue with you a lot about what you just fucking said?
No, but I'm saying, like, a lot of the shit that I write, like, I kind of have them in the back of my mind, like.
What? Dude, your shit doesn't sound like Curbside.
No, I know what you mean. No, I know. But it's like, it's hard to explain. Like, I enjoy the camaraderie. I enjoy having brothers. Like, I feel like they're my brothers. Like,
so you look forward to.
Yeah, like I write a song
shit.
with them in mind. Like, this is gonna be.
It's like a writer writing a screenplay with actors in mind.
Yeah.
It's like I can't wait to see Leo crush this part. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense. I can handle it.
Like, I'll hear some shit in my head, and I'm like, I know he would do good at that. Like, he needs to do that. Whether it's JP, Chris, Brandon, whatever.
Why you're liking the fucking cat? Damn you. Maybe I'm just writing the whole thing in my room. You're like, no, I can't wait. They're gonna be awesome at this. Damn, it's amazing. So maybe this would be a good point for us to just go down the line here, because I guess we're fortunate that there's only a handful that you've actually written and like put out into the world that we can really talk about. But I want to try to like arc this in a way where we can really like climb a mountain and my own intensity with these songs. We can get higher and higher. But so based on that, maybe we can start with Jam. I think was the name of it.
Yeah.
Old school Curbside High fucking song.
Yeah.
That one doesn't feel like it was really written to be acoustic. That one felt like you had the full band in mind. Because it was really,
yeah.
It was kind of screaming. Like you were just.
Yeah, that's safe to say.
The vocal was high register and all that shit.
Yeah.
And that was just like an ex-girlfriend song, and there it was. And the hard part is some of these people listening to this have no fucking idea what these songs are, so I can't think of a way to like even give them the experience of it. And I'm not gonna have you play these. I mean, I guess I could. That'd be interesting. Be the commentary track your shit. But yeah, you probably could. It's that old. I bet you. I don't think I've heard that song in a long time. There's only a handful of them, so I'm trying to like remember them in some sort of order. I guess see this would be the next one. Is there one?
There was the 50s song. We just call it the 50s song.
Is that the?
Yeah.
Is that If Words Could Hurt? Is that the chorus of that one? Okay, glad you brought that one up. Because that one points to something that fascinates me about it. And that is, it's somewhere between the lyrical prowess and the songwriter in you that just fucks my shit up. Because it's one thing to have a hook of "If words could hurt," which is just so fucking singable. But then if you're really listening, if your heart is just watching you play, to then hear you say, "Here's a page and a half." So like chocolatey delicious, like but like vengeful. There's something so hurt and angry and just needing to like vomit a whole bunch of hurt and feelings and misunderstanding on a person's face. A page and a half, like the it's like the syllabicness of that is delicious, but the concept of it. If words could hurt, here's a page and a half. It's such a wonderful moment. And I love that you guys call that the 50s song when there's a perfectly good lyrical hook that you could just make the song title. Like it's all right there. Call it Words or something like that. It's right there. And you're like, we'll just call it the 50s song. Like the lack of respect that's being paid to the brilliant hook in that song.
We're just idiots.
So great.
We can't just fucking sit down and come up with a song name. That's our problem.
But even the riff, just like just power.
You know who helped me write that song? No one knows this. Luther.
Fuck you.
Luther helped me write that song. I remember very vividly. I was stoned out of my mind. I was probably
I'm so happy.
20 years old. It was back when I lived with all those guys in Tempe. And I used to just and Luther was always like, we all had our routines that we did. Luther was always in his fucking room on his computer. He was like a computer whiz kid. He was fucking programming shit and whatnot. Me, I was always getting high in the basement, writing songs, and writing guitar riffs. That's all I did. And one day I go to Luther's room, like, Luther, and I'm, like I said, fucking stoned. Luther, check out this chorus that I wrote, and it was that fucking chorus. And he's just like, that sounds like Radiohead. Creep. I know it does. I know that. But a lot of fucking songs sound the same. He's like, I know, but it sounds like fucking Radiohead. He was already giving me shit. And I was showing him like these chords because it's a very like normal fucking run of the mill bass line, riff, just the basic. But the chords are a little different. They're a little off. They're a little this and that. And Luther fucking showed me that shit. Because I was playing normal chords. He was like, no, play it like this. And I was like, ooh, that's fucking sexy. I just changed like one little thing. And that's why I was like, Luther, like, you're a good guitarist. He's like, yeah, I know. I thought like, I play the drums, I play guitar too. He talks all fast, Oh yeah, I play the drums.
Which is funny because the Luther I've met is the opposite of that. He's just chill, just there. What's up, man?
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah.
He's wiser.
That makes me so happy. I love that we got some like super fanboy stuff about that.
Yeah.
Even though that song hasn't been published, so nobody has any fucking idea what we're talking about.
No.
My little fanboy heart loves that.
Yeah, Luther helped write that.
So from there, then I guess this will be the next one. I think.
Yeah, that was the next one.
And I mean, I can remember seeing it at Curbside shows and being like, fuck. And then I remember being friends with you guys, and so I would like just be at practices or shit other times. And so I feel like I just heard it enough that I just knew the lyrics to it, even though I fucked them up myself when I was just playing on my own. Like sometimes I didn't know what you're saying, so I just like add my own bullshit in there, but I have a hard time imagining you sitting in a room with an acoustic guitar and like the genius of those phrases coming together. How long did it take you to finish See This?
Fuck you.
Are you serious? Do you work with like a notepad or something where you just write down ideas as they come? Did that literally just come stream of consciousness? Like, it's too good.
It had a lot to do with the stuff I was listening to at the time. I remember at the time I was really into a band called the Early November. You remember that?
Heard of
Them and Taking Back Sunday.
yeah, I guess it does have a Taking Back Sunday, like that kind of.
Yeah.
Lots of words. Taking Back Sunday is just all fucking.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember, like, there's this one Early November song. It's the first song on their, like, most popular album. But it's just very, like, oh, God. You should probably listen to it.
Going to.
It's called, I think the album is called The Room's Too Cold. This Room's Too Cold. It's the first song. And just, like, the intro is just like, oh. And that's what I was going for. Like, just that creamy fucking.
And then I guess there's some irony that the opening riff to that, like where the guitars really crash in, is just half of the 50s song. So it would be and See This is just like it's the same riff. It's just only one go of it. Yeah. And that being said, the chord pattern isn't even all that dissimilar. Like it's in the same ballpark. Yeah. But they're vastly different songs. Like. See, this is more kind of a rock song. Let's see. Like, I know where we're going to end at, but I'm just trying to make sure we catch all ones along the way. I guess the next one would be A Million Miles, which is a pretty new one. Is there anything between there I'm missing? Being a guy who's seen you guys play a lot. I feel like I've seen everything that you've done. And I can't think, like, those things I just said, that was basically all the Marquee show. Like, you played all of those songs at the Marquee show. Yeah. And that was, like, all you'd written up to the point. And so now we're fast-forwarding to current day, Curbside, and A Million Miles would have been, I think, the first thing you put forward. Yeah. Is it? Okay. Yeah. So that song's, it's fun to listen. I enjoy it. It's just kind of a wistful, What's a million miles about? I'm trying to think of the lyrics and I'm like, all I get is a million miles, a million miles. I can't, I'm not following you in my brain past that. I haven't captured those lyrics yet emotionally. What's this song about?
That song's about my dad.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow. That's heavy. Yeah. That's going to change the next time I listen to it. Zoom in a little bit. Shit.
Yeah. I guess the lyrics kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, go listen to A Million Miles. Everybody's listening. And I know that's about his dad.
It's just about, fucking shit happened that you don't expect to happen, and life goes on.
Just emotional distance. Looks like. Or that life is a long road to walk. That's the million miles. What exactly is the million miles? Is that too, I guess, obvious to share? Is that more something you just like people to kind of interpret for themselves, or?
I guess it's just the journey, your journey that you take. You don't know how long it's going to be, you don't know how far it's going to be.
That song seems to be a real go-to for you live. Like
yeah, I just always
really like. You like getting to that point of the show, and you're like, all right, here we go. Let's sit.
Yeah, I like playing that song. I think it's just catchy, and it's kind of rocking towards the end. It has a little bit of everything, at least everything that I like. So that's why I like playing it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a fucking fun song. I don't know.
Well, on that note, I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm just going to take us right to the newest and here's what happened. Here's my 2 cents on the experience of this. I didn't know that you guys had put out a live album where you guys had just played like acoustically live. I didn't know you played the show. Like, I guess I don't follow your pages enough or something. I had no idea that shit happened. So then out of nowhere comes We Do It Live, I guess is what it's called. And actually, I think I heard about it on your live stream where somebody was like, oh, go check us out. You can hear this shit on fucking iTunes or whatever. I'm like, oh shit. So I go and I listen to this thing. And I'd heard several of the songs before, so I listened to it, like, that's cool, and then kind of skipped to the next track. Actually, I'm telling this story wrong. Okay, what happened is, during the live stream, I don't know the order of events because it's why it was impactful to me. I think what happened is during the live stream, you guys played a fucking song. And I thought, what the fuck? And then somebody said, oh, you can listen to this shit on a live album that we did. Go check it out on iTunes. I'm like, fuck you. So I went through the live album and I skipped through until I fucking heard the song that blew my fucking brains off that you played on the live stream. So there's a song on the live album called Keep the Furniture. That
you like that one?
Is everything that grabbed my brain about See This. But it's almost like See This is like the teenage or the early 20-something perspective of loss in relationship. And so it's kind of like listening to a Blink-182 album. Like you can remember the days like going away to college and, you know, is my picture still in your locker and all those kind of like young ways of looking at the world. And so See This to me is like that. And based on that, it's fun to listen to because of that element. That it's, it kind of lets you reconnect to the time when your feelings about the world were just not developed. Were just immature and just sort of your wide-eyed looking at the world. And so See This is just really fun like that. And then there's a song like Keep the Furniture, where for somebody who has been through divorce. And mind you, at the time, I didn't know jack shit about what had happened in your personal life. So I just didn't even know contextually where the song was coming from, where it had come from. But I'm listening to you. I don't think I can explain this. Do you know who Sarah Bareilles is? She's a piano player. She had this song called The Love Song. I'm not gonna write you a love song. It was real big several years ago. She had that hit and that whatever, but as an artist, she's super interesting and somebody that I highly encourage people to get into. There's this song. I think it's called Manhattan. And I'm not even sure if it's a cover. I don't know if she copied it off somebody, but her version of it just melts my heart. And the idea behind the song is she's gone through a breakup with somebody that she had been seeing, and they've had a lot of their relationship experiences in New York. And so the chorus starts with her. Well, I don't even know if the song has a chorus. It's one of those songs that just sort of kind of has movements. But the song has this idea behind it where it's you can take Manhattan because I can't have you. And the idea is she's breaking up the city into pieces and she's dividing them up between them so they don't have to see each other anymore. But the idea behind the song, if you really listen to it, is she's so busted up and she wants to see this guy so bad. But since she can't, here's how we're going to divide up the world so I don't ever have to see you again, so I don't ever have to feel how much I miss you. It's so devastating. It's wonderful. And in my opinion, Keep the Furniture is such an evolution from the way that you addressed relationship issues with See This that it was one of those moments where, and I don't mean this as a put down or as a slight, I was so fucking pissed off that you're in Curbside High because I want you and an acoustic guitar in a studio to play Keep the Fucking Furniture, and I want that shit to be released, and I want Zach Braff to get some genius idea to put that on the soundtrack of a movie so I can cry my fucking balls off to it. Because the song is so perfect that all it can do is lift anything that it touches. It's so fucking wonderful. Is there any way that you can even talk about Keep the Furniture? I feel like from what we talked about, even in this setting, it's pretty recent and pretty...
Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's game on. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously about divorce. It's about, just fucking... And like you said, there is a connection to See This. To See This is kind of more of it's the same idea, but a little more immature, it's a little more juvenile.
And aggressive. See This is pictures torn up and there's more rage, and Keep the Furniture is just defeated.
Yeah.
I think that's what broke my heart about listening to it. I was I feel like musicians are so fucking full of themselves, and I'm including myself in that when you write songs, usually you're just protecting your ego in what you're writing, and you're just so fucking over it and so defeated that I'm man, people don't write songs like this anymore.
Yeah, and that's definitely how I felt when I wrote it. I was just what the fuck?
And I have a weakness inside of me when there's this genius song, a beautiful, brilliant song, and then it has a title that isn't a lyric from the song and is basically as genius as the song. Where you're just fuck you. Keep the Furniture. It's the perfect visual for what this song is about.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what anyone is talking about when they say that. You keep the fucking furniture. You know that.
But that's not even how you mean it, which is what's beautiful about that song. It's so but the overitness that you possess in it isn't even anger. That's what's, I think, so captivating about the song, and why I think it's so easy to just relax into it and be sad, is because you're nothing but relatable. You're not even like challenging anybody's belief systems. You're not. You're just so broken, and people just don't write broken songs anymore. It's just so fucking fascinating.
Yeah, and that's all true, and it's no different than how I really felt about it. Like, I'm not like, this kind of is what it is. Like, I'm not really like mad about anything. Or, like, there's definitely times where I'm sad, and like, you know, it sucks that like things have to be like this. But it's kind of just like, I made a bad decision. Fucking hell of a ride. Like, it was 5 years of just insanity, like just insane ups and downs. And it's just fucking life. Like, there's just nothing. You know, maybe that's the dream, you know? Maybe that's all that bullshit that you go through, all the hard work you put in, maybe that's the dream. That's the way I look at it.
The song does it for you, which I think is one of the most irritating things about you. I think I strive to be prolific. I don't really want to be like well spoken. I have a fucking podcast, for crying out loud. Like, I aim to be verbose and to really express myself clearly and succinctly and believably and all that shit. And here you are talking, I guess, really kind of simply about certain songs that if you go and listen to these fucking songs, there's so much being said, and it's so carefully said, and there's so much precision with which you express these ideas, and so artistically, so creatively, that it's kind of funny to hear the author of the song speak so kind of simply about it, simple-mindedly about it, to not really feel the need to just gild the lily. You're like, the lily's right over there. If you want to see it and smell it, it's right there. Go experience what I wrote. I don't need to fucking explain it to you. It's over there. I did all the hard work. Go check out the hard work. I built the house. You want me to build you another one? Fuck you. Go live in it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I can't. If I could say it any better than the song I already wrote, I would just write another song about it. You know what I mean? Like,
then you will. I think that's what keeps the firm.
I can't say it any better.
Is that you're developing, and you're one of those annoying ass artists that puts out like a groundbreaking song once a decade. Who's the filmmaker that does it? Only makes a movie like once every 10 years, but it's genius. Like, that's you. And we all just get to sit around and fucking wait for the next
I'll take that.
Brilliant ass song.
I'll take it.
But at the same time, thank you for not wasting our time by making a whole bunch of horse shit to get to that one great song.
I remember, what's funny is I wrote that song, and then like we actually ended up getting back together like a few weeks later.
Really?
Like we were gonna hash it out.
Oh fuck.
And then like she's really weird. Like, so like I wanted to tell her like I wrote this song. I don't know, just something told me to maybe tell her about this song. Because I thought it was really good. I wrote this song and I thought it was good. I showed the guys in Curbside. They thought it was really good. So like as we were hashing shit out, I thought like, should I tell her about this fucking song I wrote because of her, like how good I think it is and how much I like playing it. And I was just like, no, I'm just not gonna fucking tell her. It's almost like I knew, like, going to waste her time.
Has she heard it since?
No, she's not. See, that's what one thing that always bothered me about her, amongst a lot of things, but I never played any of my stuff for her. She never asked to hear any of my stuff. She would go to shows and kind of stand in the back and like not care. Like, at least pretend to fucking care. Just pretend.
Can we have this conversation about this part of the ego of an artist, specifically of a musician? Like, as far as relationships go, there's one thing that I'm pretty sure we all need. And it's funny, I feel like there would be people that would argue with me about this. I think Jeff Trotter would argue with me about this because I think he enjoys that Britney is a very different world than his music world, so he has like a place he can go to escape it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think 99% of musicians need their partner to be a fan of what they do. Whether they even acknowledge it or whether they even encourage the partner's fandom, because I've seen that happen too, where the partner's like, oh, play this song for me, and they're like, we'll see, babe. And they make it like this real big thing, but deep down, I think they need that. They need to be seen for this thing that they do. And I say that in the sense that, I don't know that I have statistics to back this up, but the relationships that seem to go by the wayside are the ones where the person just didn't really give a fuck that they did that thing. My ex-wife, she was at the shows, and she was usually backstage or whatever, like, you know, rubbing my shoulders and just being like, oh, good job, babe, or whatever, but didn't get not understand why this was so great or why, I don't know, the development, like, as I was growing as an artist, didn't get any of that shit. She was just kind of like, you know, a supportive wife. And that sounds weird that I would say that, because you're like, isn't that what you just said? No, that's not what I just said. What I said is, we need to be seen for this thing that we do. We need you to get it. We need you to have, like, the emotional and intellectual intelligence to understand this world. We need that from you. And I get the sense from what you're saying, like you also had a void there. So was that a part of why it didn't work? That you were just like, I need you?
Yeah, but it was more than that though. It wasn't just that. Like I can deal with someone who like just doesn't understand. It's like I don't know how to explain it. Like she basically would hear a song. It reminds me of like what everyone thought of Eminem like 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Go on.
Like he's crazy. Like he's got issues. Like I'll play a song for her, a song that I wrote, and she'll just be like, I don't know. I'd be like, this is me. Like, no more, no less. You know, I'm just kind of is what it is.
Did she react the same to like your humor in social situations? Like, would you crack her just a dark joke, and she was like, I don't know this guy. Like, was she just back offish about that?
It all just depended.
Yeah.
She had like really bad social anxiety.
Which means you're the worst person to be with if somebody's already socially anxious.
I remember, dude, we had this fucking show at Tempe Tavern. I don't know if you were there or not, but you know, we were all there. You know, JP's family, Graham's family.
It's not the show, is it? The one where you proposed?
No.
Oh,
This
okay.
was just some random Tempe Tavern show. I don't remember why we were there, what the occasion was.
Because that's the only place you guys play. That's pretty much
Club
it.
Rock and Tempe Tavern.
Yeah.
Okay, so the joke was, so one day, my ex comes up to me and she's like, because we all hung out with them, the band and all their wives and kids and shit. She's like, and she's seen Chris at shows. Like, are Chris and his wife, are they swingers? And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't think so, but I mean, I don't, you know, this is when we just started hanging out again. I was like, I don't know him too well. Like, I don't think so. I was like, why? She's like, well, it just seemed like every time I turned around, each one of them was talking to, you know, another person, like the opposite sex of another person. I was like, well, they all fucking know people at the show.
Right.
So, No, it was more than that. I was like, what did you see? I was like, for what? Oh, they're just very friendly with others. Just shit like this, just random like comments that just don't make any sense.
I get it.
Like,
Sharice always touches me when she talks to me. Yeah.
and it's really, and it's just
Yeah.
she's like trying to like turn this into something.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I think you've got the wrong idea. Like, I don't think so. So that was like a joke for a while. Like I told Chris. Like,
In the band,
of course I told
Yeah.
Chris. And he's just like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know, dude. That's just what she said. Like, and we're laughing about it. Like, no big deal, whatever.
Yeah.
And so like at the show, I told Chris, like, because my ex was gonna be at the show. Like, Chris, like, figure out like a way to fuck. Say some shit or like just embarrass her. Keep the joke going. And I assumed it would be done subtly. But dude, me and Chris and my ex's name is Angel. Me, Chris, and Angel are all right there. And Sharice walks out. And she's like, fucking, the gloves come off. She's just like, so, I want to know why you think me and Chris are swingers. And I was like, oh my god.
Sharice is always the one that comes at it like that. Let's make this uncomfortable.
I know. And she like doesn't mean any harm necessarily. She's kind of like laughing about it. Like, you know, nobody, like, let's just get this out in the open.
Uh-huh. This is funny to her. This is Sharice being funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
And me and Chris were just like, oh.
Like, Jesus.
We're just gonna bow our heads. And Angel's just like, gets really fucking weird. And at this point I'm like, I'm fucked. Like, I'm done. And like, Sharice just keeps, I mean, she can tell at that point Angel's a little uncomfortable. So she kind of backs up a little bit. It still is like kind of grilling her.
Uh-huh.
And when it was awesome. Like, I was sitting there like, kind of felt bad, kind of was like, oh yes, like, it was kind of cool. But that was not a good night for me. The fucking end of that night, she wouldn't even fucking talk to me. She wouldn't look at me. I was like, dude, do you fucking realize, like, you did that to yourself. Like, no one cared. We all thought it was funny. Like, no one fucking cared. You're the only one who cares. And you're being a fucking baby about it. And even, like, Chris and Trace were like, we don't fucking care.
I'm exactly that insecure.
Really?
As your ex, like, I would have been bothered that I was the butt of the joke. And that after putting me through such discomfort about it, that everybody else is immediately cool as a cucumber. Without any, like, thought at all of just like, oh, she has actual feelings and she wants to feel like pride and confidence and ego and all the things, and all that's been fucked because we decided to make a joke out of it, and nobody's gonna step onto her field and be like, hey, it's not even just like, oh, we're cool, it's fine, like keeping everybody's like, you know, but no, hey, you're fine. Like, to just kind of like really give them power back, I guess you could say. Like, that's a place where I think me and Chris and Sharice have disconnected over the years. Is there have been times that they've been like really meaningfully supportive of some shit that was not easy for me. And there's been other times that I've, you know, tried to like express things to them and they've just been dismissive in a way where they're just like, it'll be cool, man, everything will work out, because they just don't, it doesn't relate to them, it doesn't impact their life, they don't have any room for that drama, and so they just kind of like step over it, and I've been like, really? What the fuck? That's hurtful? But then again, maybe I'm just too sensitive, and maybe that's why I don't have a very active social life, because maybe I do spend more time in my feelings than other people are comfortable with. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, exactly. It's just like whatever moves the conversation forward. But the beautiful thing about doing it in a podcast is I'm not here to like make things awkward or waste time, so I can finish the conversation and be like, this was fun, because it was. Trying to think if you missed anything. I don't want to talk to you about comedy. We talked about that. I'm going to talk to you about basically your whole music career. I think we've dotted all those.
All 5 songs.
I'm going to say these words knowing that they're completely inaccurate, but also completely true. As the CEO of a record company, Blayrock Records would personally like to offer you the chance, if you ever want, not even to leave Curbside High. Fuck it, stay with them as long as you want. Don't give a shit. Enjoy most of what happens in that partnership. To just break out on your own and do the you thing as big or small as you want. Book studio time, you an acoustic guitar, make a small intimate album.
Oh, you're
get
gonna
a good
record?
producer with you, like make a fucking full.
You're gonna record it?
I mean, I could, or I mean, Jeff,
said-
Kristen, like
You
there's
said
all sorts of
Blade
studios.
Rock Records.
Right. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know, like the financing behind it, like all the horse shit that most musicians don't want to deal with.
Oh.
The stuff that the money they can't come up
You're like
with.
a contractor.
Sort of. Yeah, I'm saying I'm happy to like take over the producing, the planning, the scheduling. I will fucking manage the creation of your shit. Mind you, I don't book shows because I don't know how the fuck that works. I don't know anybody enough to like get you on a Spotify playlist or some horse shit. I'm useless in all those places. But to get your thing made, to have an actual product in your ears that you can, and to put it out into the fucking iTunes and Spotify and all that bullshit, I will do all of that. If you ever feel like you dig what you do and that you would like to do it on the side from all the fucking curbside shit, I'll make all that happen.
Pay you? Do I have to pay you?
No. The
Okay.
tricky part is, depending on how many people give a shit about it,
Yeah.
you may never get paid. Because I might be literally just putting out money for something that nobody's actually buying.
Sure.
Like, you know, there's revenue from streams and shit like that, but I may be just like eating the cost for just so something can exist. That's possible. That's how Blayrock Records works right now. I eat the cost for a number of musicians to just have their shit out in the world, and I deal with that because I'm single and where else am I putting my money? But, you know, there may be the possibility that somebody will like take off, and then I'm like, hey, cool. Not that I'm like, oh, now I'm personally rich. It'd be more like, oh, now Blayrock Records has. It'd be like Fat Wreck Records, the NoFX's like label shit, where like as they got successful, they're like, cool, who else's record can we put out? And then they just started using that money to build a business. It'd be that. Like if you ever made money, I mean, obviously you get paid. Make sure you get paid an artist's wage and then some, but it'd be more like, hey, now my record company has money to like be a company and pull on other artists and what's that phrase? The rising tide lifts all ships? That. If I succeed, everyone succeeds. You're saying yes. I love that, but I'm not taking that as like, cool, let's start work tomorrow. What I'm saying is, if you ever do have the thought that you'd like to just do some shit on your own, or do any of this shit on your own, have like a Collin Thompson fucking version of all this shit that's just something different, let me know, dude. We'll get it done. To your specifications. You will be like lead producer, and I'll just sit in the background and, you know, fucking write the checks and make sure it's getting done, you know?
Alright, now we're getting something. I'll get it. Yeah, dude, I'll fucking... No, I would like to record some more of my own shit. It's the problem with all my songs, they're all fucking sad. Like, they're all fucking... That's not a problem. Yeah, people only get shit over.
This is a fundamental misunderstanding that you have of the current state of the music industry. What's the biggest acts in the world right now? Or the ones that, maybe biggest isn't the right way to say it. Who are the people that seem to be getting talked about the most?
I don't even know.
Post Malone, Lizzo, a bunch of fucking peppy, up-tempo bullshit. Maybe it's good, maybe you all like it, fine. Like it, enjoy your lives, I don't really give that much of a shit. There's such a fucking pocket in the current music scene, industry, whatever, for like earnest music that needs to be filled. The last time that it even came close, I think, was Billie Eilish, and even that stuff's kind of hard to listen to. Like, it's okay, but I don't know that it's like... It's so, like, produced, and, like, the way they just twist and like, mash her voice up just to try to make something interesting. I'm like, if this was just an acoustic song, it would blow my fucking mind. But you, like, threw all this fucking Timbaland shit on it, and I'm just like, I don't know. So my point is, like, Sad Bastard music, believe it or not, hasn't been done well in a while. So you may be better than you think. We're basically done. You
No, we're not. We're never done.
We're not?
Never.
I mean, dude, the beautiful thing about the cast here is we're not 100% just here to, like, fill my fancy. If there's some shit you want to talk about, hit me, bro. Even if it's nothing that I'm supposed to, like, add 2 cents on. I could just sit here and listen to you talk for an hour and a half about some shit.
Let's see, what do I got? What am I pissed about?
There you go. That's what the pod should be about.
I don't know.
That's the beautiful thing about you. I don't think you're pissed in that way. Like, when you get pissed, you write a song.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. I'm just... You know, I'm not that interesting, Adam, I'll be honest. I'm not that interesting. I don't have a lot to say.
Why
Anything
do you...
I need to say, I just, like you said, I write a song about it.
Why do you feel that being, like, chatty is interesting?
Chatty is interesting.
If you say that you're not interested because you don't have a lot to say, like...
Well...
You just told a bunch of fucking cool stories over here. That's pretty interesting. I've been chasing you as a podcast guest for, like, months. Because you're, like, this unicorn of interestingness. Like, of course you're fucking interesting. I don't know why you would think you're not. If someone asked me tomorrow to interview me on their podcast, I would say yes. Why? Because I know I'm interesting. And that's not, you know, I mean, I guess that's, I'm saying that from my ego, but I'm not saying it from a place that isn't true. Like, I've lived an interesting life. Being Mormon is strangely interesting, especially from the perspective from which I do it. Being a musician is pretty interesting because, you know, it's kind of a low-yield thing to do. Like, you put out this thing and nobody gives a fuck about it, at least not out loud. And then you're just like, oh, okay, guess I'll keep going. Being a filmmaker, I put out a fucking 4-hour documentary film. What kind of an asshole makes a trip across the country, shoots the whole fucking thing, puts out a 4-hour, like, how pretentious is that? So you're like, someone's gonna sit here for 4 hours and watch me fucking talk about some shit. Because I think I'm interesting.
Dude, people will watch anything. No one fucking cares. Look at this shit on YouTube that people has millions of views. Like, people got time to fucking kill and watch shit. Like, I don't know.
I'm keeping this in. I love that you're just like out of frame and across the room, and we're just still going. This is why I love my show, because the weirdest shit happens while I'm trying to, like, make a real professional show here, and I'm just like, fuck it, man. Let it ride.
Oh, God. Sorry, but
I love it.
take care of business.
I feel like getting high, I understand. Done that a few times in my life, and there's a really distinct space that puts you in.
Yeah.
I feel like being drunk, I have come to understand, because I have been kind of tipsy, wasted a couple of times in my life, and that's like the different headspace.
Yeah.
So to be both, I don't know that I've only been both once in my whole life. Like, I was actually going through or fresh out of a divorce.
Wow.
It was like, I think it was like Super Bowl weekend 2009 or some shit. And my buddy, he was like a hardcore football and 49ers fan, was like, come over for the fucking Super Bowl and sleep over and da. And for some reason, him and my other buddy got together. We've known each other since we were like 6. And they brought over some like alcohol and shit. They're like, dude, we're gonna take your mind off the shit. We're gonna have a good time. And so I started out with some Mike's Hard Lemonades because I was at the time the same way I am now. I was just like, I can't do the hard stuff. So I tipped back maybe like 2 or 3 of those. And then my one buddy takes me aside and we do either 1 or 2 shots of rum. And then, after we sit outside on the back porch and talk for a while, he fucking takes me upstairs and I do like probably a couple of pretty good hits off this fucking pipe. Maybe like 2 or 3 in the morning, I was puking my face out.
Yeah.
And was for a while.
How old were you?
25, 26, something like that. But first time. Like, never in my life have I touched any of that shit. And here it is, like, all going down my gullet at the same time. Fucked up, yeah. As I hear, when I tell that story to people who, like, drank or smoked, they're like, oh, not like that. No, that'll fucking kill you. Like, thanks, yeah.
You just don't do that.
Those are my friends. That's my life. Those are the people that like me. Do that kind of shit to me.
I fucking love smoking and drinking beer. I love smoking and drinking coffee too. It's the best.
Well, it's different. Yeah, coffee's it's just coffee. It's caffeine.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fuck you. You don't get like a buzz off coffee. It's just.
Oh, I do.
Do you?
I get like a fucking. Yeah.
What the fuck are you drinking? What kind of Colombian cocaine infused coffee are you drinking? You getting the buzz off.
Do you drink coffee?
Iced coffee. I don't
Like
think I've
the
ever had a
caffeine?
hot coffee that I like. Yeah, iced coffee is still captivating. It's still coffee. Like frappuccinos, like mocha latte, shit like that.
You don't feel like a kick?
Well, kick is different because I've been drinking soda my whole life, so I know what it feels like when you're like, yo, caffeine, woo. But I don't consider that like a high. I mean, I guess it's a stimulant, sure, fine. It's
Something about 2 things that has always agreed with me is caffeine and weed.
and yet
Like,
alcohol
well-
is like the opposite of caffeine. It's like bringing.
I honestly don't even drink that much. I really don't. I drink like on Saturdays. Like,
You drink for recreation.
yeah.
Like, I don't need to go out. I got my friends right here.
Yeah, I drink on Saturdays. Like, Saturday's my day to fuck off. It's my fuck off day. So I'll drink on Saturday. But, normally, it's like smoke a little weed, drink some coffee. Feel right as rain. Feel right as rain. Fucking love it. Love it. If I could drink coffee all day, I would drink coffee all the time. Coffee's good, dude. It's badass.
I think I need to find a blend and a recipe for hot coffee that I can like. Ooh, I like that. Because so far, iced is just really hit the spot.
You put sweetener and shit, like cream.
I've tried, and it's never made hot coffee like palatable. It's always just like, oh, Jesus, like an ashtray. It's like there's no way. But the same thing with beer. Like the reason I can't drink beer is because to me, to my palate, something about the alcohol, something about the hops in it or whatever, just tastes like a fucking ashtray.
It's an acquired.
It all tastes like Guinness to me, all of it. I'm like, I don't know. It's not great. One time, like I shoved down a Rolling Rock because I had like a really bad day.
Those are pretty bitter, right?
And for some reason, we had like a band something at Chris's house. So it was like me, Chris, Jeff, I think Ben, our drummer. I think it was an Afterlife thing. I'm not gonna remember right now, but for some reason I was just pissed off, and I knew in that back fridge on like Chris's back patio, they always have like drinks and shit. So I just like open it, grab like a beer, we just happened to roll and rock and walk over to the table and crack and start drinking. And all three guys at the table were just like, "Are you alright, man?" I'm just like, "Fucking great, man. What's up?" And we just had like this angry meeting about like mastering the new album or some shit like that. And I was just all pissed off. But I remember like after drinking one of those, maybe two, but probably just one, I remember feeling so trapped in my head. I feel like just these prison walls had just like just kind of locked me inside of my head, and I'm like, oh, this is not, I shouldn't be feeling this while I'm feeling this. I'm like angry about whatever's going on in my life, and this not helping. So I was like, yeah, alcohol. I don't need to spend the time to make this taste good or to like get used to the flavor of this, because the way it makes me feel is not helping me. Which is weird. I got like Native American blood. So you would think like genetically I just would be predisposed to being alcoholic, but didn't catch with me. I like masturbating way a lot more than I like even trying to get drunk. It's way more fun. That being said, drunk sex, I hear it's great. I wouldn't. It's way more fun when you can feel everything. Good
High
Lord.
sex is really good. Yeah, man.
Yeah, because being high like gets under your skin. Like it's
really
like
just-
body high, like edibles.
No, it's the
Fuck
best.
me.
It's the best. High sex is the best.
You know what's the worst about being high though? Not being able to control coming down. When it's like a day later and you're like, fuck, I'm still high. I would really like to be functional at this point and I can't stop.
Yeah,
Like,
see, that's not a problem for guys like me. That's a good thing. That's what I aim for. That's what.
I don't want to feel life. I just want to fucking stay in the clouds, man. I mean,
Reach for the stars.
that's what fucking Gavin was writing about. I don't want to come back down from this cloud. It's taking me all this time, man. What's up?
No. Well, kind of.
You know, that's sincerely, that's something that interests me about the friends that I have that smoke weed often or drink often. Specifically, it's just that idea of like, I'm kind of a control freak. Maybe not kind of. Maybe I just am a control freak. And I need to be very, very connected at all times to all the experiences that I'm having. I need to be very aware of everything that's going on around me to just feel safe. It's almost like people have fucked with me so much in my life, like picked on me and bullied me and just fucked with me so much that I just don't trust anybody enough to just be like out of it and have somebody, you know, just fucking draw dick and balls on my face and just whatever bullshit might happen that would then be hard for me to deal with later. Like, I just don't want to be in a position of that, so I just need to be constantly as attached to my environment as possible. So it intrigues me to the other side of the fence, where you guys, unless I'm misinterpreting it, just want to get the fuck away from the standard human experience as much and as often as possible.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, dude, I don't know. I just get tired of people. I don't know. That's for me. That's what it is. I just get so tired of people. Like sincerely, I'm not even saying that to be a bitch. Like, fuck people. Like I just really do. And so I just want to fucking be alone. I'm like, if I'm alone, might as well fucking have some fun. And it just makes shit more relaxing too.
Do you feel tense the rest of the time? Like when you're sober, do you just feel like jumpy or
a little bit? Yeah. No, I do.
Do you feel nervous? Do you feel like anxiety out in
Yeah.
the world? Really?
Yeah. Not to a point where it's like, ooh, but like, I feel a little uneasy, just in general. And so like, and I'm pretty fucking hyper too. I probably have like ADHD or some shit. I don't know.
Oh, so it's like your brain is going all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a way of like slowing it down or shutting it down.
Exactly. Like my brain and my body just wanted to fucking go. And so, I don't know. So it kind of slows shit down. I kind of get more into my own head rather than like let outside shit bug me. Like I'm more focused on what's going on in my own head. I don't let shit like interfere, you know?
Which is interesting because inside of my own head, I feel like I beat myself up as much, if not more, than anybody else beats me up on the outside. So being in my own head isn't solving my problem because I'll just push myself against the wall and be like, "What up, faggot?" Or I don't know, maybe that's too aggressive, but like I'm kind of rough with myself.
Well, that's another thing. If you smoke too much, that can happen. You're just too much in your head, and you're like, well, you freak yourself out. You gotta find your balance, though. Like,
wow.
I don't know. I don't know. And that's a problem I've always had. I've always like just let my my mind races, and then it makes my body race, and then like I start worrying about shit because like I feel like my mind I can't catch up to what I'm trying to comprehend. You know what I mean? Like my mind can't catch up with like there's certain things I want to just get all at once, and my mind is like figure it out. Just move. And it's just like
I think I get that. Yeah. I think that what, from my own perspective of what you just said and my own journey or wrestling with it, have you ever heard that Jewel song, You Were Meant For Me? Like her biggest song?
Yeah.
You Were Meant For Me, I was meant for you. There's a lyric at the very end that I never really heard until a friend of mine was like covering it. I was like just helping her figure it out, and she sings this lyric, and I'm like, holy shit. And ever since then, like, it's just kind of stuck with me. Where at the very end of that song, that whole song's about a breakup. And it's about her, like, going through a day and just trying not to think about it. And getting just really fucked up about it. And at the very end of that song, she's talking about, like, you know, she brushes her teeth and puts the cat back on. I know you hate it when I leave the light on. Like, all these weird little memories of him. And then she gets into bed and she says, I put on my PJs and hop into bed. I feel half alive, but I feel mostly dead. I try to tell myself it'll be alright. I just shouldn't think anymore tonight. And that, I just got chills just thinking about it. Like, that lyric to me is how every fucking day ends. Because I'm so on all the time, and I'm just thinking about things and crunching numbers and analyzing the world and trying to figure out the mysteries of fucking life so much that by the time I hit my bed at night, I'm like, are we just done for the day?
Yeah.
To the point of tears. Like, I'm just fucking tired. Tired of trying to figure out all this bullshit that I can't make sense of. I'm fucking tired. Can we be done? Can we sleep? Pretty please? And then the next day, it just kind of all starts over again. Like, that, in a weird way, is where my suicidal tendencies are attached to, where I'm just fucking tired. I'm tired of this thing that just won't fucking shut up. And I gotta listen to it all goddamn day.
Yeah.
That sounds like what you're talking about, but you found a way to kind of slow or calm it through chemicals.
Yeah.
Unless it's not that aggressive. That's nowhere near what you were talking about. I don't know.
No. I mean, I'm not. There was a time when I definitely did feel like that. Like, using a break while shit was in your head. And that definitely helps. Smoking weed.
I keep that in mind. I've had friends, like, I had a friend that used to work in the industry. She's still pretty, she does like a lot of CBD shit. She does things from time to time, but I don't know. I just haven't, I haven't looked that hard, but I haven't found anything that just really, I'm like, oh, this I need to do all the time.
CBD's alright. It just relaxes you.
Yeah, it's like no high, which is part of the point. I would imagine of smoking the weed is getting the high.
No, it's just more fun too. There's just so many reasons to smoke. Like, I could literally go on for a long time about all the benefits. I just love it. I fucking love it. I don't give a shit.
Well, I'll tell you what. This has been like a weirdly good end to the podcast. I vote we end the podcast and we just keep fucking talking because we're having a great time. Instead of dragging these poor people into what just might be a tired and weed-infused conversation, we could just put a punctuation on this and be like, hey, this is fun.
Sure.
But sincerely, I'll probably have you back on at some point. Probably after we do that solo album of yours and change the world a little bit. I'll be like, hey, Colin, remember that time on that podcast? I was like, here's a Play Rock Records contract. But no, thanks for dragging me into this. Thanks for it gives me the weirdest like artistic boner when somebody that I've mentioned to you, I'm like, we should do the podcast. And you're like, cool. And that was like 6 months ago or some shit, whatever. When you out of fucking nowhere were like, let's do it! Like, I love that. Because no one does that. Everyone makes me chase them down and makes me like hold them down and like basically rape podcast interview them. And I don't enjoy it. I'd rather them want to be there.
Yeah.
I like having our names on the same marquee where I'm like, look, I know that person. Let me show you in an interview how I know that person because my self-worth is attached to the cool people that I know because I'm bullshit. But thanks for validating my self-worth by being on a podcast so people think I'm cool.
That's just
because I know you and we talk.
That's just what I do.